Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support the show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Salutations, everybody. It is Maddie here today, and welcome to episode 274 of Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast. We hope you're all doing absolutely excellent. Spring is upon us, and joining me as always is Lord Cognito batting leadoff for the New York Mets. Actually, no, you'd be batting cleanup.
Yeah.
Or Beefy would be batting cleanup, for sure.
Put the power in there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
100%. How are you doing today, good sir?
I'm doing all right. It's just... I'm actually not ready for the heat.
Yeah.
In a weird way. It's nice outside New York City. We're in the 70s. It's beautiful outside. Unfortunately, in my place, the heat is still on. And I am suffering. It's just muggy. And then when it gets very humid, like I got the windows open. I'm not ready to put in like the air and the AC and all that going just yet. So it's kind of forced suffering. It's kind of my own fault. But it's just like, bro, I'm like in a fog. I can't work like that. Like I really am trudging along. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm dealing with it.
I've been begging for this heat. Now that I got it, I'm not complaining. I'm keeping the perspective alive and well that I was fucking miserable during this winter, right? Like every ounce of snow felt personal. So this heat's been really nice. The sweat has felt great. But I'm with you. It's because now we're in the awkward period. It's a little too cold out these next few days where you turn on the AC. It's like, you can't on and off the system like that. You just can't. So, all right, we got to hang with the windows open, old fashioned style, lock style, European style.
Facts,
right?
Get the fans going.
Yeah, got the fans going. It's like, okay, that's fine. But there's that clamminess, that inescapable clamminess. Like you got an extra layer on your skin. That's how I describe it. So that's how it is right now in the Maddie household. Just a touch clammy. Not bad.
Bro. But I can believe bust out the shorts for the first time yesterday.
Yeah, I'm in basketball shorts right now.
Yeah, bust out. No, I'm talking about outside though.
Okay.
That's when I knew. I was like, oh, yo. I was like, it's warm, yo. I was like, you can't go to the gym now with the sweats and that. It's time to bust them out. I was like, okay. So I realized the change is happening, kind of thing. I just wasn't ready. I was like, okay. I guess like you said, the winter lasted so long. Yeah. I've been in that mindset when I'm like, oh yeah, we supposed to have had warm weather for a long time.
Yeah, dude. It's been since like October. I feel like I've been rocking pants exclusively. Like it's been bad. So I threw on a pair of shorts today. I was like, oh, this feels nice and airy, nice and roomy. How about that?
Let's go.
Anyway, you been up to anything lately?
Man, just the grind, brother. Yeah, I mean, I can't really say fun. It's just, it's one thing. It's not that it's no fun. It's just that it's just one thing to the next. And it's about surviving the day. And it's like, again, not bad stuff, some good stuff, some hustle stuff, opportunity stuff. But like my calendar agenda is just every day there's something. And I am getting a little resentful now because I'm like, man, I could use just like 1 or 2 days of nothing where I could just kind of get myself back. And it's just like something I always have to do. So again, can't be too mad because obviously, you like opportunities, you like things, and obviously playing things and covering things and traveling and setting up things. Cool. But like I am it's been like 2.5 weeks of this post GDC. And I'm like, bro, I could use a nothing lazy sloth day where I don't have any responsibility. I don't have to answer anybody. I don't have to be in a meeting or do some kind of content.
Always something.
Yeah, but it is what it is. It's the life. What are we going to do?
I feel you. Yeah, these last few days for me have been such a because what happens is whenever a deadline starts to scale up for our game, my game time falls through the floor. Like I haven't picked up a controller in like 3 days. Like it's just. It feels weird because it's such a part of my daily schedule. I know a lot of people are listening. You're like, whatever, bro. But when it's such a part of your daily life, when you don't, it's like you get the itch. You're like, bro, like right now, I'm missing Pacopia, something fierce. Our Force is calling my name. Like I'm trying to get in the time when I can, but there's deadlines to hit with the game. And so it's like you can't ignore that. I had a couple other personal life fun obligations that that also cleared the schedule a little bit. But man, like it's been a busy time. I agree. And it's only getting busier. Yeah. It's just been, this year has kind of just taken me for a ride, and I've sort of been enjoying going on it because I'm, as you and I have talked about, operating a little differently, right? Just like, again, just trying not to follow all the big games every single time, playing what the heart wants to play, listening to yourself even more than you usually do. So yeah, that's been nice. But this week was a fun one for me. Like I talked about last week, went to Mets opening day. I guess I saw their best game so far. They've not hit the ball since. I was leaving that building feeling mighty encouraged. But
yes, that was a great opener.
Yeah, but since then it's just been, I don't know, like I'm not convinced. I'm back in that dire Mets position where I left I guess, again, couldn't have had a better experience there, but leaving that building, feeling good, and then watching them these last few days, it's just it's like, dude, we're just cursed. Like the thing is, bro, we get these guys like a Bo Bichette.
I know.
This guy's known to just hit the cover off the ball, put him in any running and scoring position situation. This is the guy you want.
1 for 12.
Yeah, I was gonna say 1 for 12. It's like, yeah, of course. You just can't.
Of course.
Like it's, again, this is the same thing I talked about the snow. For us New Yorkers, this shit gets personal now. It's like, okay, we just decide to show up here and forget how to swing the bat. And he starts talking about like, yeah, I was trying my Mets moment. What? So Mets game was great, and then went to the city again earlier this week. My friends bought tickets to a show for WWE, so I saw Raw at Madison Square Garden.
Fire!
Yeah, dude, it was such a check all the boxes show. Like they did everything that I could have asked for. Like I got to see CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes was there.
Does it feel weird for you? I hate to interrupt you, but because you're the AEW dude, does it feel weird for you with the CM? I don't know much about wrestling, but I remember that part. How does that feel for you guys?
Well, I don't watch AEW. I haven't watched AEW in years now because I think their show has fallen off pretty tremendously. But when I did, I was against CM Punk when he left because it seemed like he was being dramatic. But when Tony Khan was a legit moron and like literally put up the video of him not being attacked by CM Punk at all, I was like, oh, okay. So I'm Team Punk, 100%.
Okay, got you. Okay.
That really, I think for a lot of AEW fans, myself included, was like the moment I went, I don't like this company, dude. Like, I really don't want to support you guys. Like, I like some of your wrestlers, but like that, and then some of their talent on the roster, I don't know why they have a spot. They're just really sluggish. Like, it's a bad watch sometimes. Gotcha. So I'm not tuned into any wrestling. It was just kind of like a check the boxes WWE show. Like everyone came out, did what they were supposed to do.
Okay.
For a show a couple of weeks from Mania, you could argue should have been a little bit better. There were some storylines that I feel like should have been peaking that just like were suddenly introduced. Like Seth Rollins returned. It was a good moment, but then like Gunther shows up, chokes him out, and I guess that's his WrestleMania match, and all the crowd's like, what the fuck is like, why are they fighting each other? So that was good. But like I met my best friend there in the city, and we just spent like the day together. I learned so much while I was out there. Number one, I can't believe I've never been to the Lego store in New York City. As a Lego aficionado, I'm very disappointed in myself. But a goated store. But what's even more goated is I walked into the Hershey store. You know that Reese's and Oreos are doing a collab?
Bro, I got to shout out, Mom. I told you, I got to shout out Rook. I didn't even know that them two get down. I didn't even know they was
rivals.
Bro, I thought they was ops. So I'm in, bro, I'm in what's called San Francisco out there for GDC. He's like, Carl, let me put you on. He's like, I was like, bro, this is Oreos and Reese's together.
That's what I'm saying. It's a powerhouse combo.
Bro, I was like, yo, I can only have one pack of this. I'll eat this whole thing. I'll buy this whole store. Like, I got to chill. I was like, I don't even really like that you're giving this to me, but I got to try it for science.
How was it? I didn't, because the thing is, it was hot. Okay. See, I figured it was hot out and we still had a couple hours to go. I just couldn't. They didn't sell any like single package.
Single pack. You had to get the big greedy one.
It was the bags. Fine, I know me. I'll eat that. But the problem I had with the bag is that it was hot. I was like, dude, I don't want to go home with melted chocolate. Yeah. So I wasn't willing to take that risk, but I was really kicking myself walking out the store because they had like a whole section there. They had cookies with this stuff built in there. I was like, bro, this store
is not ready. Nice. It's Chick-fil-A frosted lemonade. You're not ready. You remember when that hit? You like, oh God, I didn't know I needed this in my life.
Yeah.
It's that.
You know, it's so funny because I was talking to you these last 2 weeks about my new Dairy Queen kick here, and this is me being a legit idiot, bro.
What happened?
Here's a great mental image for our audience. All right, so I didn't know part of the staple of the Blizzard at DQ. I'm just thinking it's a marketing tagline or something. It's like it's a milkshake sundae, or it's like a mixture of the two. It's like their own special thing, and it's delicious. So I'm getting my Oreo Blizzard at the drive-thru. And both times, what they do to prove it's the Blizzard is they hang it out the window and they go like this. They kind of like dump it upside down. They're like, here you go, Blizzard, like that. And every time they do it, they flip it. I run. I'm like, yo, they're about to drop. I don't know what I'm thinking, because if the ice cream just plops out, it's just on my hands. Like, I'm just a reactive guy in this moment here. But they get me every time with this thing. And so I tell Laylee about it, and she starts cracking up because she's sitting there going, that's like the thing that they do. Like, the Blizzard doesn't fall out. Like, they're showing you it doesn't fall out. So
that's
you know it's a Blizzard. I'm like, dude, I feel like they're taunting me. They're like, oh, you would have thought. Almost dropped that whole thing.
You really want it? You really want it?
I had to bring that up. It's been an eventful week. No doubt about it.
That's hilarious. I love that.
Cog, we got to write in this week. Everyone who's listening can write in at patreon.com/laststandmedia. Every Monday, we post a little thread. We take your questions, and we got ones like this from Don't Ever Say Another Man's Jutsu is Enormous. He writes saying, afternoon, springtime, Dukes. Not to add more to Maddie's plate with handling the show, but have you ever thought about doing a segment on the last episode of each month where you go over the list of each new notable release of the upcoming month? It could be a gut check for the host to see if they are looking forward to any of the new games, and a spotlight for the audience who may not know something is releasing soon. For example, I'm sure there are those who are unaware that Outbound, Saros, Invincible Versus, and Mouse PI will release this month, and one of those could become someone's new favorite game thanks to you. Keep it the great show and have a Halo, Gears, Fable, and Clockwork all coming out before November 19th is kind of insane kind of day. Thank you, Jutsu, for writing in. I like this idea. I wanted to put it out to the audience and see what they thought. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, it's cool. It's funny you said that, because I started doing this with LogNet.
Okay.
And what we've been doing is kind of like, obviously, codes have been improving a little bit. So we're like, okay, we really got to start planning better. And there's times where writers will put in requests. We almost had like an honor system. And it was like, oh yeah, you put in a request, whatever. But no, we got to document it, because now so many things are coming out. We got to keep track, and then we want to make sure, one, people are doing things responsibly, and they're not overworked, they're not taking on too many code. And then also we want to be fair, and also ranking in accordance to how bad you want said game. Because there's a lot of people like, so shout out to PD, shout out to Mahmoud. We've come up with this system, and it's like, you got to rate the game. So you be like, okay, Invincible Versus 1 to 5, 5 being you really want to cover this, man. You know what I'm saying? So we'll have all the writers that go through the spreadsheet. So we've been doing this now. It was funny. We just started it a month ago, last month. And now the games for April come up. And now I'm looking at it now. All right, see who wants what he is. Coming. But yeah, I'm down for it. I mean, it's just cool. It kind of helps set the plate and the tone for what's coming. And mentally, sometimes I need that. I'm like, oh yeah, that's coming out this month. Or you forget about some in the cut game that you really had your eye on. So yeah, I like this stuff.
I agree. So we'll leave it to the audience. I'm sure y'all will be into it, but I always like to check before I change the show at all. So leave some comments. Let us know what you're thinking about this one. Again, it'll be a segment kind of built around once a month. Here's what's coming out the upcoming month, and we'll just talk about what those games look like, and it'll be a little fun episodic thing. So let us know.
Yes, sir.
This next item before we get into the news goes to Papa Smurf 531. He says, howdy, Dukes. Just want to get a pulse check from both of you about leak culture that is so prevalent in the gaming space. I enjoy a little leak here and there, but Nate the Hate practically spoiling Nintendo's release calendar for the year and stating that a remake of Ocarina of Time is on the way just seems like it's going too far. What line do you two think is acceptable for leak culture? And do you think some of these leakers are getting too comfortable crossing it? Thanks for the entertainment every week. Now, we have on our news docket like the actual Nintendo leaks, so we'll talk about them one by one and sort of how we're feeling about it all. But I wanted to talk again about leak culture, because it's something we've revisited from time to time. How do you feel when you see, I mean, it happened to Xbox too. Tom Warner, The Verge gave the whole calendar for that. So we basically know everything is coming up for the year between Nintendo and Xbox, and then PlayStation's got a bunch of stuff already announced and confirmed. So how do you feel, again, looking at the leak culture in the industry, kind of just knowing minimal surprises are left for the year?
It's tough. This is one of the toughest arguments. We had an IOP about this. And I'll name one person who was involved. I won't name the other person, but one person I was like, we had Tom Henderson on at the time, and I was like,
the leaker.
I was like, yo, how do you feel? Because when I have you on, I'm going to ask you questions that, may make you not super uncomfortable, but I would be remiss if I didn't ask, because some people are like, hey, they really hate, sometimes when insider gaming would, bring stuff. And he's like, look, we've been better about it. And, we understand we got to try to respect teams. But at the same time, it's like, hey, Cog, I'm trying to run a business. And, I have people that come to me and tell me stuff, kind of thing. So if it's not wanting to be out there, it shouldn't be out there. I've had this conversation with Jess Corden. I've had this conversation with Jeff Grubb. I've had this conversation. And I've heard both sides of the argument, because on their side, it's like, hey, people are giving us this information. We have to run a business. We're going to put it out. Then it's the other side was like, hey, you spoiled it for the team. You not giving proper context on some announcements and stuff like that. So I get it. Look, I'm not going to sit here and lie and act like I'm a person that does not like information. I do. Yeah. And I'm not going to sit here and be holier than thou. Like, I'm not covering these I'm not. I just how I am. It's how I'm wired. Now, what I tend to do, me personally, is if it's something I really love, like a game, right? And it's like giving me at a certain point, okay, that's enough. I don't need any more details. It's coming, cool. I don't need the super deep dive, because then from there, I do like the element of some surprise and knowing certain things. But it depends. There's other times where I call myself a hypocrite, because there's other times where I'm like, oh, word, they doing this, they doing that. It's a tough business. I want to be empathetic to those who are on the teams and understand, like, hey, you got the information, but you ain't got all the information. People are framing it wrong, and then folks narrators have. I get that. I totally get that. I'm empathetic to that. But who am I to tell that man or site or business to not make a living when they especially if they're accurate? If you're spending, like, if you're putting out consistently accurate information, the Nate the hates, what am I supposed to tell that man? Yo, stop doing that. Stop getting the view. Like, come on, like, we got to be realistic. So it's a tough one. But where do you lie on this one?
I've admittedly softened a bit. I used to be a little more harsh on it. Like, yeah, you kind of ruined some things. Ultimately, I get it. It's a really hard line to walk. I'm still a little bit there, but it's like I've softened a bit, because now what's happened is the economics of games has become so vital to the conversation, and we get such obfuscated data frequently, and these companies lie to us often, and these leakers are sometimes the lifeline to the truth. I think about how sometimes certain conversations with even like Xbox could not happen. Can you imagine if we lived in a contextless world where we were just watching Phil, Sarah, and co operate as they did without various reports coming in? So I understand what Papa Smurf's asking about is more game related, and I'll get into that. But I've softened because of that, because I recognize two things. One, that information has become really important. And two, like Cog mentioned, I cannot take a holier than thou stance, because when a Bethesda leak happens, I owe it to my audience, but also I know I want to talk about that. I want to line up and be in that conversation. For me, it's like my code with it is like, I've had people email me and literally offer like, hey, I'm in these buildings. Do you want info? I just don't answer. That's how I operate. It's like, I don't need to be an insider. I don't want to be an insider. I don't have desire to I like being a fan. I don't need to be a reporter. I don't like lying either. So I know, just for me in general, like, if I know something and I got to pretend, like, my audience has watched me struggle with this in the past, when like I had review code access for Starfield and I was reporting on Starfield's news, and I had to be like very razor sharp on just like not saying anything that would give away the game. That sucks, so I try to avoid that feeling. Or like, I guess a more recent Starfield example was when Bethesda showed us the DLC, and everyone's like, year 2, bro, what is year 2? Like, what is it, 2.0? And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, fuck no, it's not. But I can't say that. I don't like that feeling. So that's kind of my moral code with it, is like, I went through my brief leaker phase I've talked about with like KOTOR remake. I went through that, hit the headlines and stuff, and I was like, yeah, cool. But like, it's just not, number one, not worth it. Number two, it's not fun. And you don't want to really I don't want to be responsible for robbing the teams at their moment. But am I going to tell someone like Tom Henderson, whose literal site name is Insider Gaming, like, hey, bro, stop. No, definitely not. Can he like, and they have chilled on this, but they used to be like, here's the trophy list. I'm like, bro, story stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the leak culture stuff I get my back up on. It's like, I don't mind release dates, announcements, that sort of stuff. It's just going to happen, you know, because it's a Wild West situation out there. If they don't do it, someone else will. That's the game. That's what was explained to me. Yeah, that is the game. And it's the same thing with like, we've talked about like with review codes, right? Like, you know, if you don't take what's given to you, they're like, all right, bro, you don't want this? You want to spit on our face? Okay, well, we got 5,000 other people who are lined up ready to take that spot. And we'll just do that. You know, we'll get someone who plays more by the rules or whatever it may be.
Yeah, no, so, absolutely.
You know, I don't think there's really any stopping it. There is avoiding it. But I, you know, it is one of those things where I think once you just uncork it, and that's it. Now, in the case of Date to Hate, I think Nintendo's going to take a run at this guy. I'm going to be honest. Really? Like,
so I missed out. I don't know. Give me the context. This is new information. I didn't know any of this happened. I didn't even know about the Nintendo joints.
Yeah, I mean, he just leaked everything for them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, this guy has been at it for a while. Like, he's leaked their directs. He's leaked their Nintendo Switch 2, I think, release date and pricing. Like, he has been on
fire.
Everything. I mean, Nathan Hate's ironclad, bro. But I'm sure Nintendo sees him as a threat. Like, this guy's putting pins in our big reveals, our big announcements. I don't think like I don't know if they could really do anything to him, but he's reporting information he's being given. But whoever's giving him that info, I'm sure they're looking hard for who that person is, because this guy is taking away moments for them. I mean, you gotta be honest, like Ocarina of Time is the highest reviewed game of all time.
That's huge.
You know, if this is like a legit top to bottom hardcore remake and this dude just straight up leaked it, you know, like that is that I can see someone like Nintendo, where the Nintendo ninjas are a very real thing, and they're like, fuck this guy. Like,
Nintendo
like,
don't play about that.
This felt kind of backbreaker, because it wasn't just like you know, it was just Zelda. It was Zelda. It was Star Fox. It was 3D Mario. It was Fire Emblem. It was
I'm learning all this is news, real reactions. I didn't know none of this went down.
Everything, bro, is their whole calendar year is out there. And like he usually just drip feeds, but this was like boom. He just dropped the bomb. Yeah, because it was crazy. Just a bunch of leaks at once.
It's funny you said it, because I'm trying to think of past history with him specifically. I'm not trying to say, I'm just trying to remember patterns. It would be like, hey, something's coming up in February, may look out. Like, it would be subtle, you know, saying kind of thing.
I call them reply leaks. Like, something, he'd be like, no, actually. You know,
that's what it used to be. I got to watch out. Nintendo's outside. It's a big one. Wow.
Indeed. So good question here.
Great question.
It's definitely not like there's a perfect answer for it. You know, but I think it's just kind of inevitable, and it sucks that some of these things get taken away from us. But at the same time, I think you have a lot of projects leak, and I'll just end on that. Like, to me, the real excitement is seeing it like it's real, because we see so many stories of studio shutdowns, project cancellations that, you know, for me, like Final Fantasy IX Remake, which Nate the Hate also said was on ice, you know, like for me, that'll be like KOTOR Remake, I also know is very real. Whenever that shows up, it's going to be like the first time it got revealed for me. I'm going to be out of my seat for both those games. Like, I'm so excited, provided it looks good. That's the thing, is like everything sounds great on paper, but I've learned so many lessons. I'm like, that sounded great, but then I saw it.
Yeah.
So there is also that games can leak and still have the moment of like, oh my God, they like did X, Y, and Z. Like, so yeah, good question. Appreciate this. Defining Duke and Xbox podcast is brought to you by Shopify. Ladies and gentlemen, let's keep it real for a moment, all right? Chasing a dream is pretty scary, but what's scarier is doing nothing at all and letting that dream go by the wayside. Sometimes chasing the dream can be a little bit easier with someone helping you out. And that's why I'm here to tell you about Shopify, which is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses. It could be the one behind yours, because they're supporting 10% of all e-commerce in the United States. And that's from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands that are just getting started. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping and processing returns and beyond. So they give you a big business feel while still remaining small business, while remaining true to your morals, to your ethics, without having to expand too much. If you ever get stuck, you're new to this whole thing, Shopify has world-class customer support 24/7. So they're here to help no matter which way you go about your business. So what are you waiting for? It's time to turn those what ifs into with Shopify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/Duke. Go to shopify.com/Duke. That's shopify.com/Duke. Cog, last week there was the Xbox partner preview. Got a bunch of announcements here. We had a write-in from Christian, like the religion. He says, hey, Dukes. Hope you're both having a great week so far. What were your impressions from the Xbox preview last week? Artificial Detective, Goldman, and Alien Deathstorm were highlights for me, along with the date set for the Xbox showcase this June. I sort of got a reinvigorated attitude so far with Xbox. So far, so good. Hope they keep it up. Thanks for your time and have a good one. Appreciate you for writing in, Christian. We'll talk about that. This seems like that's kind of the vibe with this next story we're going to get into, and how Xbox is kind of laser targeting big problems with them. So I really like what they've been doing these last few weeks here. For the partner preview, though, Cog, did you have thoughts? Anything stand out to you?
Yeah, I really like this. It was a pleasant surprise for me. I didn't know what to expect. Usually partner previews, I keep expectations fairly low.
Yeah, definitely a lower level thing for sure.
Yeah, so I'm like, all right, they're doing an extra show. They got more to talk about. Looking at it, artificial detective look good. Just get that frame rate up a little bit. But I do like where they go and aesthetically. I'll say another standout. Obviously, I think Dispatch being on the platform was huge. I actually was one of the ones that waited. So I was just like, all right. Plus, there was just so many games I couldn't play Dispatch at the time. So that was good for me. Goldman looked cool. Bro, Expanse, Osiris Reborn, Mass Effect type joint. And got the nerve to be in Game Pass too. I was like, whoa, that's a big get. Forever Go look interesting. I was gonna say what else? So we got not that one. Hades 2 was a big get. Because I think prior to that it was just Switch only and PC, from my understanding, right? So I think the fact they got that, and then I would say Musa Dirty Fate, very interesting. Again, new IP, Korean joint. Looked really good. Obviously, Stalker DLC, cool. Oh, Stranger Than Heaven. Strange. I have my eye on this. First of all, this is RGG.
Yep.
New IP. We already saw a little bit of it before. Again, now you got the nerve to be in there, and I believe, did that one get a Game Pass back? I'm not sure.
Game Pass back, yep.
Bro, that's insane. That is a huge deal. So I was like, okay, cool. And then I think the final one for me, that was the final one for me. So overall, like I said, I gave it about an 8. I was like, there was a good variety. There was enough stuff for me personally to drive me crazy. And I thought it was a nice, pleasant surprise. So yeah, what about you? Anything for you or not so much? Or where were you at with it?
I'll start with the smaller one, Eternal Life of Goldman. Sorry. That one, just kind of, it just very pretty Metroidvania looking title. Love the art style for sure, but just reminds me a little bit of games that I really loved in the early 2010s, like your Valiant Hearts. Like that art style really speaks to me. But yeah, it just looks very responsive, looks very fun. Yes. Again, and just absolutely beautiful. But for me, the real game of the show was The Expanse, dude. Yeah. Like that was, look, dude, we're about to have a Mass Effect renaissance. This is coming out, at least if release windows hold, both these games in Expanse and Exodus early 2027. And I'm going to give Exodus, we talked about it, you and I were DMing about this. I'm giving Exodus grace until Summer Showcase, where they have their big gameplay reveal. Seems like they kind of had their plans were a little bit different. I'm going to be honest though, I am so team Expanse right now. Like I've been covering Exodus for a while, but Expanse looks like the truth. That looks spectacular, especially knowing Owlcat's history.
Talk to me.
It looks, they started off making hardcore CRPG games like Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, and they just did the Warhammer Rogue Trader game.
That's them. Okay.
So they have 2 teams. That is their Unity team, and then they have an Unreal Engine team. And they've really scaled up this Unreal Engine team to make The Expanse. And look, you could see the Mass Effect inspiration initially when they first showed this thing, but this latest showing, like down to the camera movement, like they had this part where your main character's running around with the shotgun. And if anyone's played Mass Effect 1, the camera's pulled up a little bit awkwardly close to your shoulders. It's a slightly bit off center, and your character kind of has this rattle when he's running around with the gun. They replicated that so perfectly. And I know for some people like Jank, I'm like, dude, they nailed that shit from that to the cover shooting to the literal button mapping. They studied Mass Effect to a science, and combining that with companions look amazing.
Yeah.
Regina, I'd like to get to know you. We'd love to get to know Miranda Lawson 2.0. You know?
Yes. I'll be romancing.
They did confirm romance.
Yes.
They did not say how steamy it gets, though. They said they were asking, would it be like Mass Effect? They're like, we don't know how far. We don't remember how far Mass Effect went, so they didn't want to quite say. That they said that after a couple of missions, you get access to the solar system and you can go to different planets, different hubs. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. Like, oh my God. Like they're like, it's COG. They said the magic length, 30 hours, which is, I've always said, the perfect RPG length. Nice and replayable. Not too long, not too short. That's what I grew up on, during my early BioWare days. Like they studied this shit to a science. So just seeing this game, and then again, like you said, the audacity of being Game Pass, I'm like, oh dude, great addition. And I'm so stoked for this one. So that was to me like the big one. Like I went in, like I was already sold on the game, but like looking at this latest showing and them doing a beta soon.
Yes, a lot of confidence. Getting that out there.
That's year out. They said they're doing the beta because they were like, we feel good about what we have, and we kind of just want to check where people are feeling. Like, this is that. And then from there, we're just they've given themselves a year basically to adjust based on that feedback. So it's like, dude, they're in such a good spot right now. I'm very bullish on them. Very bullish on them and this team and that game. Like it looked spectacular to me. As a Mass Effect diehard like you, I am very, very, very excited for the Expanse. Like so much so that I'm like, they mentioned, oh, you don't have to watch the show, read the books. I think I'm going to do it anyway. They've really pulled me in where I need to know everything. I just can't go in like half-hearted. Let's see how this is. Like it looks wonderful. So I can't wait.
It does. And Mass Effect fans, we're eating. You see the clear influence. My only concern now is like, again, that's not poor Exodus, but like, damn, like it is weird to have both Mass Effect style games now coming in 2027. Yeah. Does anybody blink here? Because they're literally stepping on top of each other in the same genre, inspired by the same game. Like this is weird. Yeah. And that's my only disappointment. I was like, damn, I wish one of y'all was coming this year, the other one was coming last year. Like, but y'all both coming in 2027. That's the weird part. But we'll see how it plays out. But Expanse made a name for itself. I'm like, okay, I see you now.
Yeah, 1,000%. I find it interesting that I think right now from the outside looking in that Exodus might be the one to blink just because it has gone through some changes. And Expanse kind of gets the nod right now for me because look, man, they had the balls to show me their dialogue system very early. They did not show dialogue for Exodus yet. And that's why I said I'm going to give them till, the summer when they show more. I'll reassess then. But you got to keep in mind, like Exodus has been in development for a while. Exodus lost James Olin. Was, I think, that's a significant story in that. But, it reminds me a lot of when we had Callisto Protocol and Dead Space. And I think that's the scenario living in my head is that I remember going into that being like, yo, I'm about to get Dead Space twice. Like as someone who thinks Dead Space is the best survival horror game ever, twice. But remember, by the way, this is hindsight 2020. I'm saying this now. In the moment, I was a little bit scared about Dead Space remake.
Of course.
Foolishly so. But it turns out Callisto misses, and then here comes the Dead Space remake to be better than the original, which I never anticipated. So with this one, like who knows? Optics are not really everything when it comes to these games. Like Exodus could blow this shit out of the water. They could both be excellent. That's what I'm hoping for, because as a Mass Effect fan, dude, like we have been dying for shit like this. So it's just good to see more Mass Effect style games coming around. And I'm curious how BioWare feels, of course. This is their thing. And they've finally gone back to Mass Effect in what looks to be a more traditional way. They've slimmed down their team quite a bit. So how are they feeling looking at their contemporaries and saying like, oh, they're doing that. Like how is BioWare evolving things?
That's a great point.
Because I imagine I've been getting a lot of questions about this. I'm curious how you feel with BioWare Mass Effect 5. I obviously after Veilguard, I'm not like super confident, but there is a level of like it went so far left with that game that you have to course correct and kind of lean into what fans are going to love. And I do feel like Mass Effect 5 could be an interesting situation to like, bro, bring them back, like bring these characters we know and love back, tell a dope story. I think the gameplay, we can at least lean into the idea, should be pretty great based on Andromeda. Right. Andromeda was, I had a lot of issues with Andromeda. That game was fun to play. Right. Anthem, ton of issues with that. Fun to play though. Like it felt good. So their third person shooting's good. Not worried about that. It really comes down to the writing, which I feel like they've got to just, they have to know now, like there's no denying, like this will either save us or kill us. Like we have to nail that.
Yeah.
So 100%. I'm just curious how they respond to all of this too.
I agree. It's definitely, it's giving me Bethesda, Larian, Obsidian energy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where you got the OG, the forefather, and then now, you know, here comes the Larians, the Obsidian, you know what I'm saying, in the space, and they're trying different things, and they're clearly inspired by you, but then they may be taking up certain other things a notch. And now how do you respond? How do you evolve? But to your point, it is good that their back is against the wall in a way, because they know what they can't do anymore, meaning BioWare. And the last thing I want to say, I just want to shout out Exodus on, even though right now I'm Team Expanse is looking really crazy. I do feel Exodus has a slight glow up advantage. Slight.
Sure.
And I do like the platforming part. But to your point, Expanse was like, yo, here we are. Here's our tree. Here's our characters. It was so transparent that it just exuded confidence. And I'm like, ooh, we got a fight in our hands here.
Yeah.
Like I said, Mass Effect fans, we eat.
Exodus has a more interesting concept. If they nail that concept, I could see that being like better in a way, because it's literally an interstellar RPG where like you make choices, you come back, time has passed, and like here's everything that's changed. Like that, if nailed, can be really sick. So I really hope they show that part of the game strongly, because they've been so cagey with it, and that could just flip the script, bro. Or again, I just want these two to be like top of the mountain. Like, can you imagine if like it's spring next year and we're sitting here and like both these games are fire? You know,
I know that'd be dope. That'd be dope.
Come on. Well, Cog, we'll find out soon. But to the meantime, Xbox is continuing to course correct a little bit here, and they responded to why they shut down the This Is an Xbox campaign. So people saw this was like removed. It was quietly scrapped. And then they were asked by Windows Central, why'd you take it down? And while the answer, the question is rhetorical, I think it's noteworthy, A, that Xbox answered, because I'll get into what I think they're doing here as well. But B, the answer's on point. They say, Asha retired This Is an Xbox because it didn't feel like Xbox. She is personally leading a reset of how we show up as a brand. Simple. And that's great. And I think this is what she's recognized right away, which I don't think Phil and Sarah didn't recognize. They might have been indifferent to it or something like that. I don't know what it was. But there are so many easy wins that Xbox could take and make them a moment. This is one of them.
Absolutely.
And this is what they needed to do more. We've talked about this. They need to collect your W's, dude. Like that's people clearly want to cheer for you, but this is one of those moments where it's like, you want to rally someone around Asha, be like, yeah, I'm the one who killed the fucking worst thing you've probably done this generation. Like, yeah, I know you all hate this. And guess what? I don't think it feels like Xbox, and we're resetting. And that's why you took your picture at GDC and that shit blew up, right? Because people care about how the brand is represented, how it's showing up. So for her to identify that, target it, and do it in the right way so far is a really great sign.
Yeah, I agree. Look, I know it's early. I'm always a show improved person, but I'd be remiss not to say that the way her start has been so far, we'll get into more things. It's been pretty cool. She's moving. Yeah, it's interesting for her to say this does not feel like Xbox when theoretically she is the newcomer, right? Mm-hmm. So how I look at it is you're making decisions that you are taking feedback from, right?
Yeah.
And it's one thing I can hate, someone else, she wouldn't know that or whatever. But it's another thing to actually go forward and execute the decision. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. That I have to give her credit. So yeah, it's early, but I love it. We already know ad nauseum how much I felt about This Is an Xbox, how I didn't like it, how I felt disrespectful. It didn't, really appease to the core. So I like that. Obviously, they're still going to have some multi-platform aspect and, stuff like that. But I do like the idea of putting emphasis and rebuilding the brand name and emphasis towards it. I think that's important.
Yeah. And the question that she'll be answering by probably the end of this year is, if that didn't feel like Xbox, what does feel like Xbox to her? And that's where we'll feel a little more conclusive on how Asha's really moving out there. Right now, early moves have been solid. Yeah, and we'll talk about, I'm sure, FanFest that return. Yeah, so pretty good signs so far. Mm-hmm. We got some updates and rumors on Halo Campaign Evolved that I wanted to just kind of round up and talk about real quick. All of this is courtesy of the homie Rebs Gaming. Good dude. Was DMing him a little bit. He was kind of following up, touching base on like the information he was sharing. He's very, very careful reporter. I love that.
Yes, I like that about him.
Like he would DM me. He's like, here's the report. Here's like what, just so you know, like this is what's going on with AI. This is how I'm thinking about it. Like, awesome guy. So shout out to him, and please subscribe to him because like I noticed he doesn't have like a lot of subs.
Someone who
how many people like report on his work
and his stuff.
Yeah, and like how big the Halo community is. I'm like, this guy should be like way more prominent. So please support our man. Mm-hmm. But we have prequel mission details. We have updates on a cosmetic storefront and Halo Infinite assets being present within Halo Campaign Evolved. We'll start off at the top with the prequel missions. Rebs Gaming had shared that these 3 prequel missions are focused on Master Chief and Sergeant Johnson, which was already confirmed by Halo Studios, but that they were going to look at igniting the old rivalry between the ODSTs and Spartans, and also that the Brutes were going to show up as well in these new missions. Also, they'll be using the Halo Infinite assets, like for the Banished Covenant, as well as the UNSC Marine models. This is something that a lot of people are not really happy with because some people don't like the artistic direction of the newer Halo games. Otherwise, there was a skin that leaked for a Fanta. Like it was on the can, and like you could redeem the code, and you get this pineapple Fanta skin for Master Chief. And a lot of people saw that and went, uh-oh, skins, probably a cash shop. But Brian Gerard, who is the Halo community director, shut that down and said there is no cash shop, which, you know, for the love of God, you'd hope so. They're going to charge full price for this fucking thing. It's a campaign only, no multiplayer. So I'm glad they won't try to monetize this and are just going to sell it. But overall, that's what's going on here. We have a write-in from Vincent who says, "Hey, Dukes, thoughts on the rumor that Halo Campaign Evolved is reusing Halo Infinite models and assets? Must be tradition for a new Halo studio to reuse a bunch of assets when they remake the first game. They did make sure to have the original Fanta-themed armor done on good time. Good to know that they have their right priorities over at the Halo studios. Have a Hexen got a more loving remaster in Halo kind of day." So you can see how Vincent feels about things right now, Cog. Hearing all this information between the prequel mission details, the cosmetic storefront, Halo Infinite's asset reuse and flipping, how are we feeling about this?
Getting this news, raw reaction right now. Prequel missions I was always like excited about, but okay, wow, I didn't think they would even attempt to do anything like that, right? Because I felt like, you know, from a canon standpoint, you know, how do you navigate that, right? How do you mess with the lore goons and stuff like that in terms of, you know, the history of Halo? So I was happy that they were doing something and that I would get some new information, but I'll be honest, I'm not too thrilled about the reuse aspect. That's only from the standpoint of like, I never claimed to be this Halo historian, right? But if you love, you know, Combat Evolved the way it is, and you're going to now implement these missions, one would think that you would kind of stay with the thematic art style of what was at the time and stuff like that. So this is a sensitive issue. I can understand a lore nerd being like, why are you using that assets? And I guess it bugs me from the standpoint, from a different reason. It bugs me from a standpoint like, I just want you to have a layup, Halo Studios. I just want...
Should be one.
Everything is there for them. Nice and smooth, bro. Like that's it. Like I don't want to hear anything negative. Like I know I'm being maybe a little too sensitive with them, but it's just like I'm tired, boss. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, it doesn't mean that this game is going to be bad. This game could still be great. It's just that I want a flawless run. That's it. I want to wake up, be like, yo, it plays great, it runs great. I don't want to hear about these things. You know what I'm saying? Kind of thing. So is it going to affect me to the point like, oh my God, it's going to make me not, you know, want to play the game? No. But I can understand people looking at them again with the side eye like, here they go. They're not putting the artistic, you know, touch to it. They're just reusing assets and stuff like that. I want them to clear their name because this game to me is an important jumping point to what the future Halo is. So let's land this play. It reminds me of Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a slam dunk. You've got the assets, do what's right, do what's, organically correct, canonically correct, and land the plane. So I don't really want to hear excuses, especially from this studio, because we've given them a lot. And I know that people are like, Cog, it's a minor thing, you go overreacting. I'm tired, boss. With Halo. Just land the plane. So we'll see. I'm giving them hope for them. I'm hoping things go smooth. I just don't want to hear these type of things.
Yeah, it's funny because what they've run into is it's funny because it's not really a problem for other teams. Like asset reuse and flipping is obviously incredibly common because otherwise, you're building everything from scratch every single time. I mean, good luck. It's going to take longer than it already does. So that's why it's like, oh, we already have Chief. We already have the Covenant. We already have this. We already have that. Like, okay, just, put them in there. Again, simplifying it, but just put them in there. They want to keep some type of artistic continuity. I'm sure they're not going to stop at remaking the first one. So the idea is when they sweep the whole original trilogy that you adore, they are going to have this same look for all of them. It's again a tough situation because, and I think people listening know I am no sympathizer of what Halo Studios' position is, but this is one where I could sympathize because I'm like, yeah, asset flipping is understandable. I know for a lot of people it doesn't feel great, but I also understand on the business side and game development timeline side why this is something that they're going to do. And it's a particular issue with Halo because it's had such amazing art direction in the past, and 343's direction I don't think has been terrible across the board, but what's happened is their artistic changes have rubbed fans the wrong way because sometimes I think of one of my favorite examples is when you first find the Flood in Halo campaign Combat Evolved. They have a moment where the whole room's covered in blood in the original, and it's like it's fucked up. Like this is like environmental storytelling 101. And then you see it in the anniversary edition, and it's like scrubbed nice and clean. Everything's a little shiny. Like there's just these little moments where I know people see this and think Halo fans are psychotic, but it's because Halo Studios doesn't get the little things and the intent and design behind the little things that Bungie did. But if their fans know, how don't these guys know? How don't these gals know? Another example is in Campaign Evolved, we see in the Silent Cartographer mission that they remove that rock. And so now you can drive the Warthog up there and kill the hunters.
Yes.
Very controversial choice because for a lot of people, like, who gives a fuck? But for Bungie, that was like a skill check. Like, here's a threat. You can't just bulldoze them with your Warthog and your Marines. It's not supposed to be safe.
Yeah.
They changed that to make it safe now. So these aren't world-shattering things, but it shows a consistency in not getting it. So in these moments where they're doing what makes sense, like, yeah, flip your assets. You have Chief. You have the Covenant. Go use them. It works against them because Halo has a very particular, understandably so, dedicated fan base that commands that level of respect, right? So on the asset reuse front, I get both sides of it.
Yeah.
For me, it's my favorite Halo campaign. I'd rather that I can deal with like different looking Covenant if they don't fuck the other things up. That's my approach to it.
No, absolutely.
So I was happy to see like the prequel mission stuff. I'm like, oh, interesting, because I was looking at what people were writing about the Halo books and whatnot. I was doing some research on it because admittedly I don't know if you call it Halo casual. Is that the term? Because I don't read any of the Halo books.
Same.
But 343 is very much fans, or Halo Studio, sorry, is very much fans of these Halo books because as I've mocked them before, they decided to continue their own stories like Halo Infinite in a book, or they fixed Halo 5, I think, a little bit through books. Like they've just tried to provide all these stories through books, or in this case, they're leaning on older books. Like Contact Harvest is one that's mentioned in this Gaming Bolt article, which is about a story featuring Sergeant Johnson 3 decades before Combat Evolved. And the plot kind of focuses around the Forerunner. And one thing that what Rebs Gaming had shared is that there will be a never before seen Covenant faction that's more like religious focused in this kind of prequel stuff. So between that, the Brutes, ODST, like there's a part where like Chief fights and kills a couple of ODST troopers, like seeing that stuff would be fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah.
The problem is now I'm looking at this, I'm like, this sounds fire on paper, but we got 3 missions?
Yeah.
Halo Combat Evolved is a longer game compared to other Halo games, but that's a lot to cram into one. So, I I'm curious how much continuity between the three there are, or are they kind of like three just separate stories?
Right.
We'll see. But to me, like nailing that stuff's more important because now you're adding on top of what I think is already a great campaign. You're trying to smooth it out with quality of life enhancements. Like, of course, the library is an iconically disliked mission in Halo, just in general. Probably one of their worst missions they've done because it's just hallways, more hallways, easy to get spun around. Anniversary Edition kind of fixed that where they put those arrows on the floor, but otherwise, like, it just needs some work. So they have the opportunity to do something special here and get people to like recognize, I think, how great this campaign is. But we'll see. You know, it's in their hands. It's not. They're not doing a 1-to-1, so it's kind of on them. You know, if this sucks, like it's completely on them. So.
Yeah, and look, so for the record, I've been pro ADS. I've been pro sprinting. You know, my thing, obviously, I got a chance to play it a little earlier. My issue was at the time just performance. But I understand with UE5, a lot of that stuff comes together later on in development. I just got an idea. But my main thing is I wanted to play good, but I was pleasantly surprised that we were getting prequel missions and new content. I was like, okay, that's cool. But now when you have that responsibility, you have to now to execute from an artistic standpoint, from a lore standpoint. And now we're going to learn their chops in that space dealing with this iconic first entry to the series. So we'll see. You know, I'm pulling for them. We'll see what happens.
100%. This next story is about Bethesda, just deeper cut for those who give a shit. Bethesda is shutting down Elder Scrolls Blades. This is shutting down June 30th. You may remember this one as sort of what I would define as Bethesda's response to, oh, wow, people really like Fallout Shelter. Let's make another mobile game except for our other main series. And that was Elder Scrolls. And I remember learning about this game because... it's funny, Camelworks was involved in this. And I remember we were at E3 and we were talking about what to expect from Bethesda's E3 conference. And I remember Campbell saying to me, he's like, yeah, I got like a DM on Instagram and some guy like was telling me like, there's this mobile RPG, Elder Scrolls Blades, like look out for it. And we all were like, yeah, fucking right. Like, no way. And then it was real. And that was hilarious. We were like, oh God, no. I've tried this game twice. I don't like to usually be disrespectful and kind of hit it with the like, and nothing of value is lost. But really, timing for it wasn't great. Elder Scrolls fans were already fed up because at that point, Skyrim, this came out 6 years ago. So Skyrim's about 7-8 years old. Like it's, you know, like we were already tired at that point. And they're like, here you go, mobile game. You know, doesn't really hit right. So no one really played it. Surprised they hung around this long, but Bethesda's shutting it down. It's like, okay, makes sense. So with that, Cog, I ask if you have any thoughts on Bethesda's mobile Elder Scrolls game going away forever.
I know. This kind of represents like a time period for me where I want to say wave catching, but them really trying to, you know, extend their tendrils everywhere. How much can we capitalize? And I did try it. It just wasn't for me. I'm impressed that they brought it over to Nintendo Switch. They tried to give it a go. You know, they really tried to stick with it. So yeah, bro, it was on Switch. I was like, okay, they really, want to give it a second life and see if they could get extract anything out of it. So it just wasn't for me. So yeah, I look at this and I also look at, I don't know if you caught, PlayStation has been kind of pulling back now on mobile. So I'm starting to see slow bursting, of things.
Yeah,
right?
universe is healing. It's really nice.
Right. Which was the, a lot of AI chasing, a lot of, live service chasing, a lot of mobile chasing. And to me, this is a reflection of that time period. And I'm seeing slight, again, not it's everything's going away, but slight course correction from a lot of these companies who are like, yo, we got to get one of those for us too. Let's put one of our biggest IPs and throw that bad boy out and see what it do. That's the energy I get.
I certainly can't blame Bethesda too much because Fallout Shelter is their highest grossing game ever.
Yes.
So I cannot blame them for being like, but the thing that bothered me with their mobile push between Blades and Castles is that why Shelter worked so well is they did it perfectly. It was like, hey, here's this game you've been waiting a while for. And hey, here's something for you right now that you never knew you wanted. It was this cute mobile game and it defied the odds, Cog, right? Yeah. Remember that? Wasn't asking for you to it wasn't paywalling you every step of the way. They did it just right. And they made so much money that way. And they were like, oh, let's do that again. Except this time, there won't be an Elder Scrolls game for like 8 years. And we're actually going to drop this one and tell you it's the fill-in while you're playing Elder Scrolls Online. And and then Elder Scrolls Castle, like shadow drops in China. And they're like, yeah, we're bringing it to the West now. Sure. So they just don't understand that moment, I don't think. Like they just see the money and like you mentioned, they're like, yeah, let's give us another one of those. That'd be kind of nice. Can you imagine? Like we got two of those multi-$100 million generators. Can you imagine?
It's tough, man, because when the money people in the room, and it's like you have a franchise like Skyrim that continues to sell, then you want to see what else you can, get away with it. And look, Corporate Cog is not gonna get mad at you for shooting the shot at one of your IPs in a space that you are not familiar with, and you had Fallout pop off. So I understand why they did it, but it was just like, at this point, we've got the data, we know what's going on, and you got to pull out, bro. You got to. It's not it. They're not responding to this. So
I agree.
It is.
I agree. So rest in peace, Elder Scrolls Blades, a game that I think of it. I played it enough to say like it was paywalled pretty heavily. Like they were time gating you constantly. It's like, oh, buy some gems if you want to proceed. I think if they did that less, they'd have a bigger player base. It would have done well. But those money dudes in the room were calling the shots there. They're like, hey, we want to see green. This next story took over a couple days ago, and that cog is about a Lord of the Rings video game. So in October last year, we learned of a Lord of the Rings video game through Insider Gaming. They reported that it was from an Embracer-owned studio. Now, when this had broke, and by the way, I should also mention, this was a game that said to be trying to do what Hogwarts Legacy did. So when we saw this, the natural thought was, what are some Embracer-owned studios? And everyone looked at Warhorse because Daniel Vavra is always in Lord of the Rings gear. They have a lot of fans of the franchise over there, no doubt. And I think you just need to play like an hour of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and feel how that game feels. To just imagine for a moment with its music, if you're like, if this was Tolkien universe, if this was Middle Earth, wow, my God, would this be one of the most incredible games ever? They are built for this. It fits like a glove. So this rumor pops back up because the same guy, I always forget his name, but the same guy who was the Witcher project lead for the first game, who is part of these Witcher 3 new DLC in 2026 rumors. And he's been talking about that. He's well connected in the EU space. Had also mentioned how he heard that there was a Warhorse Lord of the Rings game being made. And it was going to be one of those situations, Cog, where if what he ends up saying is true about what's going on with Witcher 3 DLC, people are going to go back to this and go, well, maybe this is happening. I say maybe because then Mike Straw of Insider Gaming had the next report saying that at the time it was understood that multiple parties were involved in the game, including Embracer and Revenge. There was also another studio working on the game, and Insider Gaming has learned which studio that is. According to those close in the game's development, Tomb Raider developer Crystal Dynamics is working on the upcoming Tomb Raider or Lord of the Rings video game. This is work alongside what's being done on Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis and Tomb Raider Catalyst. Meanwhile, they said that one of the sources mentioned that it's possible Warhorse is working on a Lord of the Rings game, but they aren't the one working on this specific game. So there is a possible world where two Lord of the Rings games have been greenlit and they're both open world games and one's first person, one's third person. It's possible. I find it a little bit hard to imagine if I were to pick one over the other, as in like what I want. Of course, it's Warhorse. If I were to pick one over the other that I believe more, I go with the Crystal one. Even though it's kind of hard to imagine how this team, even if they're co-developing in some instances, is working on 3 AAA games. It's quite a lot. But nonetheless, Cog, this has led into a lot of people really getting excited, thinking about, hey, is this real? Like, could they do a Lord of the Rings open world game over at Warhorse? I went down their rabbit hole for a video and started looking into things that they had talked about. And they've said they wanted to do a Viking game. They've had a lot of different historical RPGs. But one thing that was confirmed, because much like we're seeing with a lot of RPG teams now, right? Like we talked about Owlcat, A team, B team, if you will. We know that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is made on the Cry engine, but this new game that they're working on is being built on Unreal Engine 5. Something that Daniel Vavra said specifically, like you can't do open world stuff on that. But Toby, Lord Sir Toby, had mentioned that that they are going to continue to do immersive RPGs no matter what.
Yes.
So this is something that they're doing for all their games. Okay, got it. So whatever this B game is an immersive RPG. If it's Unreal Engine 5 and what Daniel Vavra said is to be trusted, it's probably not open world. But then here's the trick, is that Daniel Vavra is out, sort of. He's focusing on making a movie now, and he's pulled out of game development. So I imagine he's been involved in like what's happening at Warhorse and still is, but his position is more beyond the video game universe now. He's not really looking at the day-to-day game operations, which I think is a shame, to be honest. But with him gone, it's like, did he have enough influence to say, like, does that really cross off that this Unreal Engine game is an open world? So I kick it to you, sir. I'm curious what you think about Crystal Dynamics making a Lord of the Rings game and the potential of a Lord of the Rings game being done by Warhorse.
Exciting news either way.
Start with right in. Sorry. Then I'll kick it to you. Sorry. JP writes, "Hey Dukes, what are your thoughts on Warhorse Studios and Crystal Dynamics both being rumored to work on a Lord of the Rings game? I trust Insider Gaming's reporting of Crystal Dynamics working with the IP, but do you think both studios could be working on Lord of the Rings projects, or is it more likely that Warhorse is working on an original IP that's been misidentified as a Lord of the Rings game? Coming off Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I know a lot of people will be hyped for a similar game set in the Lord of the Rings universe, but if Crystal Dynamics is also working on a Lord of the Rings game, would you prefer an original IP instead from Warhorse? Thanks for the content. This episode will come out while my cat is undergoing ACL surgery. Okay. So you two will be a welcome distraction for me while I'm worrying about that. Well, we hope your cat's doing all right, JP. Absolutely. Thank you for writing in, COD. Kicking it to you now.
Yeah, shout out to JP. This is fun to speculate because, as you both know, I mean, you guys know, like, I love Warhorse with my heart. Like, that's one of my number one draft picks. Found them early. I am so proud of them to see their journey. Vavra and the team, Toby and the team, you know, arguably the best RPG of the year, in my opinion. I mean, arguably it was to me. You know what I'm saying? This was pure 100%. RPG, hardcore sensibilities. That was the game. No disrespect to Expedition. Expedition was probably game of the year, but as far as RPG, I had Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Now, where did he go next? You know, obviously for those who played KCD 2, there's still more, you know, meat on the bone, pause. But, you know, it would be refreshing to see them do something else. It would be refreshing to see them do a new IP. I like the idea of them with a popular IP like a Lord of the Rings and do something pretty exciting. I have to admit, now that this rumor from Insider Gaming comes out, that the Crystal Dynamics thing seems real. I would be surprised if 2 Lord of the Ring games are coming out. I would really be surprised. Look, I'm not going to be mad that Warhorse is doing one. You know, so I'm not going to say, hey, they shouldn't do one if they've already been greenlit. But I think at this point, if the Crystal Dynamics thing is true and it is going to be them that's doing it, you know, yeah, I think Crystal Dynamics is a good team. No, you know, make no mistake, they make a lot of games that I like, and I'm curious what happens with Mr. Gallagher in a post. What's our quadruple A people?
The initiative.
Yeah, I'm curious because remember his origins were Crystal Dynamics. Now they could be completely separate. It's Crystal Dynamics' own baby, their own team, their own leadership. It had nothing to do with it. I'm just brainstorming like what would he be doing? But yeah, Crystal Dynamics is cool. Listen, Lord of the Rings needs a game. Lord of the Rings needs an IP. They need it to be respected. That's a franchise that, almost like Game of Thrones to me, I feel like missed the boat when they were at the height of popularity to have a game coincide with their, you know, theatrical releases. So yeah, let's do it. I'm pulling for them to see if they, like I said, based on if it's Insider Gaming is solid. So I'm good on that. As far as the Warhorse part, I'm cool either way. If they're making another way, great. Mm-hmm. If they're making a new IP, great. I'm cool with them taking a little break from KCD to do something else because we see the potential. They are the last bastion, in my opinion, of like hardcore RPG sensibilities. I love what that studio does. So that's where I'm at. Where are you at with, you know, 2 games, 1 game, Warhorse 2? Where you at?
I find it hard to imagine that they're hiring up this new team's first game is a licensed game. I just feel, I don't know. Then again, with Embracer having a hold of it, like maybe it's a little bit easier to be done, but I don't want to get myself too worked up on it because it's just such a perfect fit that I'm like, there's no way. Like, there's no way they're actually going to do it right. So I just kind of default to what you said. Like, if it is just whatever it is, I will be there. You know, like I learned my lesson being late to KCD too, right? So I will be there no matter what is how I will put it. But otherwise, yeah, I think Lord of the Rings has a pretty rich video game history. That's what also excites me a little bit. The only Lord of the Rings game that I never played was actually Shadow of War, the newest one, because
I forgot about those games. I'm bugging. It's the Nemesis system. I'm bugging. Yeah, my bad.
I don't blame you because Shadow of Mordor was a monumental game, right? But then Shadow of War was also apparently really great, but it had all the loot boxes and stuff. It was really bad. They've fixed all of that now, but I just never went back and played it. And then you know what happened to what Monolith or whatever, and just so it's like a tragedy now. It's a game that I got to get to, but like I think of the Lord of the Rings game, the movie games were great. I loved Two Towers. I loved Return of the King was great. Lord of the Rings Conquest kicked a ton of ass. Battle for Middle Earth is a ton of fun. They've done so many great. What is it? The 3-player co-op Snow Peak game. I forgot what that's called. I think it's War of the North. That was an awesome one. Shadow of Mordor was great. Like, so I'm excited to see like. Because I remember Brad talked me into it. At first, I was like, what are we doing? When they mentioned like it's this kind of Hogwarts Legacy style game. But then Brad kind of sold me on like, don't you want to like walk around Hobbiton and kind of like take it in the same way that you could with HP? And I'm like, yeah, true. I'm not like the biggest Harry Potter guy, so it didn't hit as hard with Hogwarts Legacy, but I love Lord of the Rings. And when Brad sold me on that vision, I was like, yeah, I'm in. Okay. But that said, I don't see a world where they're making 2 open world games. You know, I just don't. Like, is it possible that like Warhorse is making a smaller, tighter RPG?
Right.
You know, like, are they making more of the BioWare style RPG with their B team? That'd be really interesting to see. But I think they're just going to have like 2 historical RPGs going at a time. I think they just feel like that's their vibe, that's their pocket, that's their niche, and they're just going to dominate that corner because there's so many historical periods that have been touched. Like, again, Daniel Vavra saying he's into the idea of doing a Viking game. It's like, yeah, the only Viking game I know off the top of my head is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And then there was that game called Vikings Battle for Asgard that came out when the new systems launched. Remember that game?
Oh boy, yeah.
Yeah, I remember liking it when I was in 6th grade. I don't know if I feel that way now.
Right.
You know, but like those are the only ones that come off the top of my head. It's just it's the same thing with like vampire games. Like they're there, they exist. There's just so few of them. So I imagine that they're looking at that kind of pocket and saying, like, there's so much for us to do here. Like, let's just have 2 teams committed to the cause.
No, it could be. And one thing that we're not thinking about, first of all, good call out on the Lord of the Rings. I had a complete brain fart. I forgot all about those games. And I forgot about Shadow of Mordor. I'm bugging. I don't know what I was talking about with that. But as far as the 2 games thing, you know what I said, maybe we're thinking about it wrong. Maybe from the standpoint of we're forgetting also genres, you know, like, does it necessarily have to both of them be open world? You know, maybe one can be short, one can be focused on a different type of genre and things like that. There's a lot to cover there. And I like the idea of them, one of those teams doing it. But I agree with you. The realistic nature of both seems a bit unrealistic. So I don't want to put myself in that corner again, you know, say like that. That's definitely for sure, you know, happening.
100%. So these rumors continue to swirl. I actually thought that maybe knowing Warhorse and how they're very chest out about things, I kind of thought they'd step up and say something, but they have yet to. So their silence is interesting. I will throw that out there. The silence is very interesting. Unfortunately, Cog, we must detour into a more sour story here. We've got pretty significant layoffs to go over here at Eidos Montreal, which just continues to lead talent. It feels year after year. I feel like this isn't the first time that I've seen this here, but as IGN reports, the Embracer Group developer had confirmed a significant reduction to its workforce via social media post today. They wrote, "Today's a difficult day for our studio and reflects the need to adapt and concentrate efforts where Eidos Montreal could be most effective. We're deeply grateful to the team members impacted. This decision is not the reflection of their talent, dedication, or performance. Supporting those impacted with care and respect remains our priority while ensuring continuity for the teams moving forward," end quote. And this is 124 employees that are being laid off across the support and production team, and as a result of a changing project needs. Now, I believe I'm professional podcasting now because I realized I don't have it in my document here. I believe it was Jason Schreier who had a report and some thoughts on these layoffs here, because I'm pretty sure it was related to a project that they were working on, where they were. Oh, no. It was Insider Gaming. Sorry. Let me.
Yep.
Hold on.
You good?
Hold on. It was Tom Henderson. Hook me up here. Come on now. Yeah, here we go. There we go. Another exclusive. Eidos Montreal cancels 7+ year in development title that cost hundreds of millions. They say, according to sources, the game had been struggling for years with 4 different game engines used throughout development, narrative direction conflicts, and a budget that has exploded into the several hundred millions. The game's spiraling budget resulted in several projects at the studio being canceled, including a new Deus Ex game in January 2024. Footage of the game sent to Insider Gaming on the condition that it would not go public shows that Wildlands was an open-world third-person action-adventure game in which players would take control of a character named River. River was part of a group of teenagers called Spirit Browns who could ward off bad spirits with their magical staffs and ride mythical creatures. River's companion was a giant moose-looking animal called Redheart, which the player could ride to navigate around the map more quickly. As mentioned in a separate article earlier this year, the game looked awfully similar to the canceled survival game Wild by Wild Sheet Studios, so much so, in fact, that I thought they were identical projects. However, Wild is believed to be entirely shelved. What's bizarre about Wildlands' cancellation is that, according to sources, the game was almost complete. It had recently passed key milestones and was in the debugging phase, with a tentative release date planned for later this year. However, for whatever reason, Embracer probably went cold on the project and felt like any future investment wouldn't be recouped. As to why it took Embracer this long, though, remains to be seen. So shout out to Tom Henderson for the report here. But it's been a rough go for Eidos Montreal, that's for damn sure. But Cog, I pass it to you with this information here. How are you feeling about Eidos Montreal and their future?
Sucks big time. The one that hits me is David and Fossey, because I think about Deus Ex, I think about Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I like that Crystal, what's it, they had the Guardians of the Galaxy joint. I like that game. Remember Guardians of the Galaxy?
That was a good one. Yeah.
It was decent, man. And then I think it ended up getting a Game Pass bag later, because I think it didn't probably sell as much as they probably wanted to. And then they ended up getting in that. And him being gone, like, again, this is top tier talent and a bunch of layoffs. And again, it circles back to what we've always been saying with Embracer. What was the plan? Like, I don't understand what it was. We've always said it. We never understood. They weren't really a platform holder. They were doing a whole bunch of acquiring, and I just didn't understand where they were. To me, it was just like gobble up IP, gobble up IP, gobble up IP, and it didn't. Yeah, this sucks, man. So between this Fortnite stuff, the Epic stuff, bro, like, where's the wins? Where's the W's at? Like, this industry is just so brutal. Like, how can I tell someone, get out there? I mean, I feel indie. I'm feeling better about lately.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. Indie, I'm feeling really strong. But like AA, AAA, bro, how can I tell anyone, like, get out there and make a AAA studio? Let's go out there, 300 million minimum. Let's risk it all. Let's see what happens. Like, who am I going to rally the troops up? It's brutal, bro. That's just where I'm at. But this is unfortunate. I hope these people land on their feet, because this really sucks, man, to lose all this talent.
I agree. You took the words right out of my mouth. What can you say? It's just it's happened a tiring amount where, I remember 2 years ago we were hearing it's just course correcting, and like here we are still. But at the same time, like, just looking at the information that's in front of me, 4 different fucking engines.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's a shared problem, bro. I'm sorry. There's just I don't have to even know the project at that point. Like, I'm not trying to cast broad strokes here, but like, I'm sure there's some shared blame. But in that case, that is not acceptable. That, like, there is just that much inconsistency on the vision and what you want to do. Cycling 4 different engines, dude, that's fucking insane.
4 engines is wild.
The amount of work to just port to go to another engine, just the amount of work. I don't know. I don't know, man. There's sometimes you see that sort of stuff and it's like, you guys are asking for the headache, man. Like I get like, we've seen, for example, Kingdom Hearts did this. Like they moved on Unreal Engine, like, but they moved and then they stayed there.
Right.
You know, I just, when you shift engines, it's such a monumental commitment to do that 4 times.
4 times. What was the internal conversation? To your point, you're absolutely right. Like what's the internal conversations after shift 2? Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. That's the thing. Shift 1 is already tough. I can't imagine what shift 2 is like. 3 and 4. Like I just can't. I just can't. I literally couldn't even tell you what it was. It could have been a level of over, like you're going to do it. It could have been a level of like, you know, engines are all built a little differently. It's like this one's better for, you know, 2D stuff. This is better for 3D stuff. Like this will get things done quicker. I don't know.
And not to jump in, I mean, you also got to think about there's a level of publisher support and stick-to-itiveness that you don't see to just allow that. Like, let's just be real. Like, I can't go extra hard on Embracer. Like, they wanted this to work. Who signed off or Switch 3 and 4? Like, engine Switch 3 and 4.
You gotta wonder when these companies get like folded into something like Embracer. Number one, how much actually gets seen? Like, how much visibility in these changes are actually there, where if like these higher ups were maybe aware of this stuff, would they be like, wait, four fucking engines? Like that's what you guys been doing this whole time? So I wonder about that a little bit. At the same time, along the road, they canceled things like Deus Ex. And so I'm sure this team was scrambling a little bit to try and like get something to show. That probably couldn't have been easy. So yeah, I don't know, man. It just, you got to bet on yourself nowadays. I think like if you can make it work, get a small group of people together, tech is powerful enough, sacrifice, if you can sacrifice the pay early and just try to make an indie darling. And yeah, dude, like I just think getting involved with publishers is just, because like, again, you get flush with cash. And I imagine that is also like a problem because you know, I think about one story that came across our desk that we talked about. That's funny, but you think about it, it's very interesting touch point is Palworld, where they were scared at how much money they got because they're like, we don't know what to do with all of this. Like they need to spend this. They're like, we don't know. We didn't want to make this much money. You know, like, they didn't know what to do with it. When you get purchased and you have that much money come in, I do think there's a level of, if Xbox has been anything to go by, if PlayStation has been anything to go by, watching these teams get rolled in, they kind of like, all right, flush with cash, like fuck around, find out. Let's see what we can do. Let's experiment a little bit. We got money, guys.
There's a rope.
These companies don't got time. That's the thing.
That part. That part.
Where if a game's about to come out this year and they're like, we could recoup a little bit, they're like, it's probably ain't gonna do shit, dog. Like, just let it go. Like that's where we're at. Games are getting cut before, like easy. I talked about this with. I made a video on Matty Slap. I was talking about how PlayStation shut down a bunch of studios. One of them was Dark Outlaw Games, which was making a single player game. Yeah. But again, it naturally led to the conversation about Blue Point. I'm like, PlayStation shut down easy wins. And that says everything about where we're at. Like if they had the ability to wait and be like, all right, give them like 3-4 years. Yeah, we're going to eat. It's going to be a lot of money we're going to eat here. But like, look, if we get them on like a good bit of momentum here, they'll be a steady earner for us. They'll remake the hits. We'll give them Last of Us in another like 10 years. It'll be fine. We'll make a ton of money. The fact that they're like, no, we don't got time for that. Shut them down. That burn rate's crazy. Shut them down. Yeah. Like that's where we're at now. So
100%.
I just think staying out of any publisher's way is if you can control it, if you're an indie team, just like I was talking to our team about it because we were looking at Epic. I was talking to my art director and I said, like, we really need to bet on ourselves. Like we really, like until marketing, like where someone can come and help us signal boost, but like I don't want anyone involved at this point, bro. That's optics speaking. I haven't even really gotten in bed with anyone. I'm like, I don't think I want to. I don't think I want to. You know,
you make a good point in the sense of like when you get the stability right of the publisher and then you're flush with cash, then there's the additional skill set. I think of the Rod Fergusons, the people who I consider the finishers, where you now have to hit these targets because you can't get too comfortable to the point like, hey, we've got time, we're good, And now we're seeing year 3, year 4, or whatever it is, because the games are taking longer to make, and these publishers are getting impatient, and you're not going to get that rope anymore. So the minute you start hitting snags, the minute you start not meeting those deadlines and hitting those targets, and the fact, like I said, I need an expose on the 4 engines, bro. I don't know how. I've never heard of this. Like, I want to know how this got approved on the 4th time, and we're going to move forward. So I agree. Like, that's the gift of the curse. There are some teams that are able to navigate it, and they run well, and they have great people involved that are really hitting those target hitters, those finishers that get things out. But that is a rare skill set. You know what I'm saying? To evidence, especially a lot of first time teams, right? That like you mentioned, the Power Worlds and stuff like that. And it's a very hard business, man. It is so many moving parts to this, but you made a great point. I agree with a lot of it.
Yeah. So lessons to be learned all around it, I suppose, but best of luck to those at Eidos Montreal, that are unfortunately part of Embracer's continuous laying off of everybody.
Yeah.
This next one is, oh boy. Disney is reportedly keen on buying Fortnite developer Epic Games, owner of Unreal Engine as well. This comes by way of Alex Heath, who is a tech reporter for The Town. He was talking on a podcast and he said, quote, "I know for a fact there are senior executives in Disney who want to buy Epic and are just waiting for that moment. And then there are others who think it's a bad idea. If Epic ever sold, if it ever decided to call it quits on being an independent company, Disney would be the most natural home for it for a lot of reasons," end quote. It's here that Heath, as IGN writes, referenced the upcoming Disney Mode concept art, which looked like a virtual Disneyland park with various themed areas, and the idea that it just became Disney's gaming platform. Despite 2 years later, 2 years of development work, there's no suggestion of when this will finally arrive. And so, yeah, this is something that I saw. I was like, oh boy. I mean, there is no mountain too tall for Disney to climb if Star Wars and Marvel were anything to go by. Like, oh my God. So to throw Epic in the mix now, it's like, can you imagine this company? That can't go, right? They can't have Fortnite too, right? Like that's not possible, right? Like that has to get blocked, no? Am I coping here? Like,
I mean, you are coping a little. They can buy this. I mean, look,
they have like huge IP. They're popular in gaming. Like, is there not like a level of like, hey, look, you guys are good, man. You got everything right now. It's like, no, we need Fortnite. We're young upstarters. We need to fight our way into this industry with little old Spider-Man. Like little Anakin Skywalker. The most iconic faces on the planet. It's like, yeah, we just. Can you really do that? Go ahead.
No,
set me straight.
This is what all I say is this. When I hear what's her name, the Lena Khans, these are the hypocrisy stuff I talk about, because it's like you don't hear the uproar about these kind of things, right? And obviously we just came off of them. Remember the Fox deal and like, bro, all the IPs under all under one roof with now Disney and having all these things. So it's just funny how people pick and choose what they get mad about acquisition season. I was just being petty. I'm being messy. I have to admit. But back to your original point. Look, there's a synergistic relationship because clearly Fortnite has a ton of Disney IPs there. This is clearly something Disney would love to do. I was surprised, y'all. I don't think it happens. The only reason why I don't think it happens is because of how, from a lot of people that I know in the building from Epic, Tim Sweeney he beats to his own drum. He's he's got that voting stock control. He's very controlling. And then when I seen him, I knew he was on business. Like, even though I hated his message to his employees that he got laid off, that was the worst.
You're about to see a flooding of talent onto the. That's so.
Bro,
funny.
We just laid off the hottest guys in the business. Yeah. You're about to be flooded with the greatest. Yeah. Like, don't ever say that.
You guys, you're welcome, games industry. You're welcome.
I just blessed you guys with these layoffs. Like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying, sweetie? That was not it. Other than that, I don't really have too many issues or personal things with that, but I hated that statement. But look, his battle against the app game store and stuff like that, his battle, look, you can make arguments, even though he has, a little eccentric personality and weird little things he does. You can make arguments that he has fought for developers to get a bigger piece of the pie on the cut on certain things in his battle with Steam. I know, PC Master Race guys, I know you hate the Epic Game Store, but from a competition standpoint, it is healthy, you know what I'm saying, to have them in there, right? So I look at it as him as a force to be against that. Something dramatic would have to happen, I feel. Like we would have to see a continued decline for that even to be considered. And I just think the way he's structured, the way he's wired, I would be shocked if it happened. But it's not that Disney doesn't want it. It takes two to tango. I think Disney wants this. I just don't know if he is willing to acquiesce and bend the knee, so to speak, unless like he got old and he's out the game or something catastrophic happened. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way I can kind of see it. But where are you at with that?
Just hoping and praying, bro. I've learned my lesson. I'm just hoping and praying. Just Disney, talk yourself out of it. Like have those other executives be like, this is why it would be very bad for us. Because like in my heart and soul, I'm like, it would kind of be cooking for them. Like for them, they'd have everything. They'd have complete control of everything that appeals to generational audiences. Like you start on Fortnite and it's got all the Disney shit in there. You just climb up the ladder, and when you're older, it's Star Wars and Marvel, and like these things are just around you constantly. And obviously Pixar, like it just, I get why they're into it. But it's just, if there's a God out there,
look, I'll surprise you as Lord of Acquisition. I would be perfectly fine with Epic staying the way they are and continuing to move under Sweeney.
It's just, they're already jacked, bro. It's like, you know what? You got like the dude who's lifting, he's already cut, looks really good. He's like, I gotta get bigger, bro. It's like, are you sure? You look great, man. Like, that's how I'm looking at Disney right now. I'm like, you got a lot going for you, pal. You pulled out of the OpenAI deal. Like, that was a win. Maybe you don't see it as that, but that was a win. You saved over $1 billion on that. Like, you don't have to be like, all right, like, let's go spend it over here now. Let's go get Epic.
And then the Unreal Engine they would have.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They have a whole fucking game engine, bro.
They would literally dominate the industry.
They would have a game engine. They'd have Fortnite. Right. They would have Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar. Like, it's just, they have everything. That's why I'm like, where's our hero Lena Khan when we need her, bro? Like,
see, thank you. That's why I'm calling out the hypocrisy. That's why Messy Cog is here, because it's like for certain companies, when people didn't have that energy, and this is being openly talked about, we're trying to dominate the universe.
Yeah.
Where's the upware from gamers? Where's the, we got to stop this, y'all. Where's that at? See, it's always against the companies that, they have people have certain affinities for or dislikes for, where the energy is different. That's all I've been saying.
Yeah. Let's move on from this and talk about news that you slid across my desk, Cog, and I am interested to get your thoughts on it. Unbound and Shift Up have united here. This is interesting. So Shift Up is responsible for Stellar Blade. And as a result, I guess they've become flush with so much cash that they have bought Shinji Mikami Studio, and they got this like gangster ass photo.
See the photo?
Like, yeah, dude, great picture. They're like, we just bought that shit. Like that's how I look at it, bro. Like they look so cocky right now. I love it. They put out a press release over on Shift Up saying that Unbound is a PC and console development studio led by Shinji Mikami, who is known for his work on global hits such as Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, Evil Within, and Okami, and a veteran team of developers. The team brings together those with acclaimed experience both in and outside of Japan, attracting significant attention from the global games industry. Currently, Unbound is developing original PC and console-based IPs targeting the global market. Through this acquisition, Shift Up has successfully integrated world-class development talent and expanded its new PC and console-based pipelines. Furthermore, the company plans to directly handle the publishing of Unbound's upcoming titles and gradually build its own global service capabilities. Shift Up CEO Hong Tae Kim stated, "I find it deeply meaningful to join forces with Unbound, which brings together a world-class development team led by Shinji Mikami. This acquisition will serve as an opportunity to deliver the best gaming experiences to users worldwide and further solidify Shift Up's global development competitiveness." Meanwhile, Shinji Mikami said, "I am pleased to be partnering with Shift Up CEO Hong Tae Kim and all of the employees. I sense strong synergy with CEO Kim, who is also an active creator, and I believe this is an ideal partnership that allows us to focus on creativity. We will do our best to create fun games so that both companies working as one can meet our fans' expectations." Meanwhile, Shift Up has released a branding video detailing this acquisition on its official YouTube channel for a global audience. The video features Shinji Mikami's philosophy for game development and Hung Tae Kim's vision for collaboration, heightening anticipation among global gaming fans. So, Cog, pretty crazy partnership we've got going on here. Your thoughts on Shinji Mikami hanging with it, collecting his bag?
Yes, very surprised by this. Two things stood out to me. Mikami's also, first, let's give Mikami his flowers. This is the OG. This is
still hanging with it.
Yeah, this is Resident Evil. This is the classic franchises. And I just find it interesting, man. Like, to me, it's like, you still got creative juices, right? When you see this picture, this look like the album is in stores right now, Unbound. You know what I mean? Like he has more to say. He wants to lead a studio, and I have to admit, I feel a way about one thing. I feel a way about why you left Tango, bro. Yeah. What's up with that? Like, so clearly, you know, you want to create a game. You want to do your own thing. I have to speculate. I have like, bro, I gotta speculate. Like, I hate to be booming,
not Mr. Johannes. No,
but like, why couldn't you stay with Tango? Was it a Bethesda issue? Was it a Microsoft post-acquisition issue? Why is it you have nothing to do with the team that you shepherded, as you yourself said, you like young talent. You like to nurture the next generation. Remember those quotes? So you left your YNs. So my thing is, bro, what are you doing outside with a studio? Not that you can't. You're the OG. You could do what you want, but we have to. I wish someone would challenge the question when they get a hold of them and be like, hey, man, like, you know, this is great. You're back in the space. You're doing a studio. Salute to the Stellar Blade. You know, the guys are shipped up. They recognize his talent. We're going to drop him a bag. We're going to get dope. Why you couldn't do this with your former team? That's all I need to know. And that's something I hope comes out at one point. I know it's petty. I know I'm messy, but I got to know, man. I got to know.
Do you think it has something to do with the fact that John Johannes was on the rise? Do you think it was a sort of my job's done here? Like I have the guy, I raised the talent. They just made their best game ever in Hi-Fi Rush. And like, you know, now here, like I'm going to go move on and do that again. I don't know. Because
he blessed John Johannes with the Evil Within, right? They did like a co-development, something like that. I can't remember. I remember like when I spoke to John and interviewed him, I remember that was like, he worked on that. He was so honored to be, you know, a part of that process. And that's like, I almost look at it as like almost like a torch passing, like, you're the guy, you know, you do this and, you know, I'm going to sit back. And I remember he had a young philosophy, like, you know, you got to, you know, empower the next generation of creators and developers. Right. And that's how he was building. So I have to feel there's something that we don't know, that he either got, in my opinion, dissatisfied, right, with the way things are moving from a publisher standpoint, or whether it's Bethesda, Microsoft. Again, I'm speculating. I'm just assuming, y'all. I have no factual information. It just seems weird to me that now you're back outside, you're ready to create, you have nothing to do with those your past teams, right? And now you're building up a new joint. So it is a little interesting to me, and I get the sense like I want to do things my way. And
I mean, you're being head bitch in charge, right? You know, that's how it goes. And like when it's maybe shared or there's a little too much overhead, like keep in mind, this is shift up new to publishing. Is there opportunity here of sort of a, you know, they're going to not breathe down our necks? I don't know. It's just interesting that it starts off with an acquisition.
Yes.
You know, they started off their publishing with an acquisition, like not just like we're going to fund this thing and help. Like I think about what IO Interactive did, right? Where they got involved with Mind's Eye. And we know that publishing effort didn't go well, but like that was like a publishing firm, right? Like, and they didn't buy Build a Rocket Boy. They like just funded them with their Hitman money. So that's why I find it, again, very interesting. They were like, no, we want to buy you right away. See where that kind of leads.
Yeah. artwork looks a little weird. Did you see the artwork for the thing?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, AI gen energy for sure.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see what happens, man. But I am glad to see the Legend back outside. All jokes aside and speculation aside, he is too important to this industry to not be creating. And the fact that he still wants to create is super dope. And I'm dying to see where he goes. Again, this is the OG. This is the man who gave me Resident Evil. The ultimate respect. I want to be clear that I respect the hell out of this, man. I'm just curious.
The background's anything to go by. It's going to be survival horror or some type of horror-driven thing. So that'll be interesting to see.
Absolutely.
Last story here before we get into what games we're playing. COG, Nintendo's 2026 schedule leaked. We talked about this a little bit at the top of the show, but we've got the whole list, man. You want to pull out your Switch 2, you'll know when you're pulling it out and what for, thanks to Nate the Hate, who leaked on his podcast that we get a new Star Fox game this summer, that we're getting Ocarina of Time remake holiday this year to celebrate Zelda's 40th anniversary, that a new 3D Mario game is coming early 2027, that there is Fire Emblem, which we already knew Fortune's Weave was coming, but that's coming this summer. There won't be a Nintendo Direct until June at the very earliest, which is crazy because of how much stuff is on the way that I just kind of rolled out to you. It's a lot, dude. It's a metric ton. So I wanted to know if anything on that list stood out to you, COG. Anything from Star Fox being back to something like Mario to something like Zelda, Fire Emblem. There's some Switch 2 ports, like they're doing a Switch 2 edition of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So does anything kind of jump out to you on that list?
This is a fantastic list. What a rollout. What a year. I know Nintendo can't be pleased about all this information coming out, but I'm one of the rare Nintendo guys that I like Star Fox. I'm a Star Fox guy. So I'm actually going to go see the movie.
Oh, creepy COG's going to see the movie? Okay.
I've been forced. But jokes aside.
Who's forcing you is the question. Is a homie?
King, we got to do content. And I'm like, all right. Okay. So I'll go see it. But I will admit, when I heard that Mr. McCloud was in there.
Kind of increased my hype. I'm not going to lie, bro.
Same. I was like, I'm interested. I like Star Fox. You know what I'm saying? That was Star Fox to me is I was just so impressed with them in the 3D space and the shooter. And I like when Nintendo does stuff like that. So I want to see what's going on with that. And I think it's a perfect rollout, right? If you're going to include them in a movie, now you're going to have a game. And now see Ocarina. Come on. That is one of the OG, GOAT to many as far as Zelda. And to see them bring that back, that's going to sell like hotcakes. I love me some Fire Emblem. This is a strong year. That's strong. Bro. Now, what was you? I'm looking for. You said a Mario game or what? What was it about Mario?
Mario 3D game 2027, top of 2027.
No joint. Okay.
So first 3D Mario, new entry since Odyssey.
Okay.
And I thought that was kind of surprising because Odyssey, the team that made Odyssey did Bonanza. Bonanza's awesome, but Bonanza was just last year, and I was like, they're like going to give DK the nod here. Like they're going to try to build him up. They're like, no. Got someone else doing that. Someone else doing 3D Mario.
It's time.
Dude, I got to say, I'm impressed because the way they're rolling out this lineup, like they're doing this without this year, a mainline Pokemon game. Like it now makes sense why when we saw Winds and Waves and they were like, Switch 2 exclusive next year. I'm like, because they've got a fucking monstrous push happening. Like, they're already selling a ton of units. And not only that, but they haven't even put like Ocarina of Time remake.
Bro.
You think Zelda's not going to, in a holiday window, Zelda's not going to move? Interesting. Not like it's going to, by the way, I'm not saying anything's really challenging GTA 6, but this is one that I think could stand on its own. I really do think it could be in the heat and it'll do fine.
They still need to watch proximity, but of course they'll be fine.
Of course, yeah. I'm saying this one can get close to the blast radius.
Yes, it's strong enough to be like, okay, we're 2 weeks or whatever, 2 weeks.
2 weeks ahead.
Yeah, we're fine. We're not going to be. Yeah, I agree. This is complete audience, and this is a legacy audience of one of the greatest Zelda games of all time. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm wondering, you've played Ocarina of Time?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they lean into Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom at all? Like, because, you have those moments where like this is what makes this game so impressive, in my opinion, is that it is an N64 game. Yeah. So when you go back and play, you're like, wow, they were really like tech demons back then, dude. Like the way they were just pushing this fucking cart, unfucking believable, right? So you think about that sometimes, and you're like, well, how do you make that impressive again? To the level of like you understand its greatness. And I was thinking about that. I'm like, you look at the maps, like in the manuals and whatnot that I have. I was studying them. I'm like, yeah, like they kind of had this whole thing interconnected. And it is by loading screens. Like, do you crack that wide open? Do you let Link climb up where he wants to climb up? Like, how freeing is this? Like, people might forget, but like when you went to Hyrule in the beginning of the game, it was like a Final Fantasy town. Like it was pre-rendered backgrounds and like Link was just running around them. Like that's what that was. So I think about that. I'm just like, like how much Breath of the Wild? Because I like Breath of the Wild. It's weird because I know they're like the same games, but I'll explain myself in one. I'm not as big on Tears of the Kingdom because Breath of the Wild, it just every Zelda game does like this sort of design philosophy of like, hey, you think about it, you can do that. And like that's what I love about it. It's like I have the moment of I think I can try that. Like I can play the ocarina here and this will happen. And oh my God, that actually worked. Mm-hmm. That's what like really defined Breath of the Wild. And Tears of the Kingdom carries that a step forward where you can just like mash objects together. Like it's sick, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But I burned out. I fatigued on it quickly. Like I put my hours in. I was like, all right, I'm done. Whereas Breath of the Wild, I couldn't get enough of that. So I wonder if like, that's like generations though of like people know like this is their Zelda. Like that is the type of Zelda game. It's open world. Mm-hmm. Do they fall into that category a little bit more? Or do they go for like more traditional, like this is the Hyrule Field hub. Mm-hmm. This is like Zora's River or whatever it's called. I'm forgetting the name. Like that's that hub. Like this is Kokiri Forest. Like that's that hub. I'm wondering how they think about this thing. I'm curious if you've had any thoughts on that at all.
No, they have to. To me, you still got to keep purity because I feel like I think they will get major pushback if they try to Breath of the Wild Ocarina of Time. I really think so. I don't think that's the way to go. They could take some creative liberties with modernizing certain things, but outside of controls from a modernization standpoint in the map to switch to and to use functionality for switch to, which I think is amazing. And then I know they're going to do something with them damn Joy-Cons and the mouse. I know they're going to. Yes, the aiming.
The aiming was like this revolutionary thing at the time, right? So that I no doubt they're going to be like, yeah, you can aim for real now.
Bro, absolutely. I could see the tech synergy and how they're going to, combine that. But I do think there is a huge contingent of people that as much as they love Breath of the Wild, they don't want no Breath of the Wild in their ocarina. and I think it will behoove them to keep the pure. I think of when they remade, what's the one that King likes? And it's the Wii U one and the the one is so damn controversial. Oh my God, why am I blanking on the name? It was
Skyward Sword.
Skyward Sword, yeah. Right. Like they still had to keep the spirit of it, minus the terrible Wii U control, that kind of thing. So that's what I'm thinking about. I don't think they're gonna. I think they'll do the right thing with it. I'm not too worried about that, but I am curious that there's gonna be certain design choices that have to be updated somewhat, and I'm curious to see how they modernize that in a remake. So, but it's one of them slam dunks, bro. That's
so?
That's the goal.
Yeah, people. I think it was Special Nick who was saying that it was like it got a huge budget too. So I'm like, I think they're going to go pretty hard with this thing. Like, I think they might change more than people expect because you got to remember that they did on the 3DS. I think I got it right here. Mm. They did this. So they did like already an HD remaster. And I'm like, I could be wrong. I don't think Nintendo does that a third time and just makes it look even prettier. Like, I think
that's it. Yeah, they got it.
This might be a true attempt at like, hey, what makes again Ocarina of Time so special is how it managed to beat the odds. But can you now achieve like those things that you couldn't back then now with the remake? I think that's what's exciting because I think the potential is realized in Ocarina of Time, but like if you could do more of those things again, more of that, like, can I do that? Can I play the Ocarina here? Can I do this? Can I do that? Slightly more forgiving dungeons, those sorts of things like can go a long way, I think, because those dungeons, at least for me, is played this for the first time in 2023. I know I'm late. Shit kicked my ass, dude. Better controls can go a long way with this game. Those things will make it just feel like an entirely brand new package. So Yeah.
I gotta send you something. I don't know how accurate the reporting is.
All dropped. So what do we got?
Yes, I'm gonna send you. And again, not trying to cause trouble, but this is interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So according to Yahoo Tech, Nintendo is absolutely furious about the Zelda leaks, and former marketing lead assures, who says dealing with leakers will likely become a major priority.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Okay, didn't link, but it might as well.
Yeah, this is from Kit. Oh yeah, Kristen and Kit. I think is their podcast name. Yeah.
This is surprising. Oh boy, yeah. This is. I do figure this would kind of be hot. This is beyond
major.
Yeah.
It's their two defining franchises. It's the next Zelda. It's the next Mario.
Just gotta be careful out there, guys. It's Nintendo don't play about that. We see how they came for Power World.
Even I was listening to the podcast that he said it on. Like MVG does the show with him. MVG is like, Nate, like you gotta be careful. Like, he's like, oh my god, yeah, dude. I'm sure Nintendo is gonna be like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, I just don't see a world where it gets Nintendo. Their whole business is games, and they are very litigious. We're talking about the company that's like trying to patent right now a summon and fight mechanic.
The art of capturing them. What is it?
Yeah, capturing monsters. Like they're trying to patent that sort of shit. So I'm sitting here like, dude, like they'll try to like lock it down. Like they'll 100% be like, you can't leak anything. If you do, like we're gonna make an example out of you.
Right. 100%. The question would be, this is a whole question, and what could they theoretically do to something that's clearly coming out of their own house that.
That's why I said I don't think it'll be Nate the Hate who pays the price.
Right.
Ultimately.
That's what I'm saying.
I think they might shut him up, but they'll shut him up by suing into fucking oblivion.
Right.
The guy who
yes, absolutely. If they find out who the snitch is, it's up.
Oh, it's
it's up.
Yeah. God bless, bro. But anything else stand out to you on this 2026 calendar?
Just amazing. This is like, bro, this is now switched to hitting its stride. Like really. Already? Yeah. And it's funny because the talk was like, hey, they kind of been coasting. They had the Mario joint. They had a couple, don't get me wrong. And then they have like a major Pokemon thing. But like, bro, you Star Fox, new Mario, Ocarina of Time, Fire, like these are major games. And then you threw a Xenoblade in there as well too, or no?
Xenoblade just an update, not
just
4.
An update. Okay.
Although 4 is heavily rumored, but like not that yet. Just an update for 2. Yeah.
Yeah, no, huge year. And a lot of this will switch to only stuff along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm fired up. I'm actually very keen to see all the projects that are here, especially new Star Foxes. I'm a huge Star Fox Assault fan, so I want to see what's going on with that. Tog Howard. It's time to get into what games we are playing, sir. We'll start with you. Hit us with it.
So I think we share one, but before we do that one, we do share one. But
I see. Oh, you got an interesting list. Okay, you're in that retro. Oh, okay. Yeah,
I know that grunt. Y'all know what it is. So this was one of the games I've been playing, Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Obviously those who know me well, my namesake, Lord Cognito, the Sega kid, based on Shinobi the Ninja, one of my favorite arcade games of all time. Obviously Revenge Shinobi, the history of Shinobi, Shadow Dancer, all the good stuff. I feel it was a crime last year. And it wasn't Lizard Cube's fault, but they just released in a plethora of bangers to compete with. Yeah. Having to launch in a year that Expedition 33 launches, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 launches, and then you look at the indie scene, in my opinion, you have a Hades 2 and arguably the GTA of indies in Hollow Knight. And I think any other year, my beloved Shinobi Art of Vengeance would have been a top 3 Game of the Year contender, art, music, all bunch of stuff. And it's just like, damn. And it's a shame because I was like, man, I wish more people would have played it. But don't get me wrong, it did well. People loved it that played it, gave it high reviews. So now I'm like, okay, we heard about the DLC. We heard about the villains pack. What's going on? And I want to talk about it. So pretty much they do it a free update and a villain stage DLC. Okay. And what surprised me, Maddie, was I'm expecting, obviously we saw the leaks. By Sega fans, you eating well. Death Adder from Golden Axe. If you're a Golden Axe guy, you already know what time it is. One of the most infamous bosses in Sega Kid history.
Educate me. I'm actually not.
Oh, yeah. All right. So Golden Axe this was a 2-player beat 'em up for its time, based kind of Lord of the Rings theme, kind of medieval.
Yeah, I played it on the Genesis collection when they put that on 360.
Classic game.
Yeah.
So good. You could ride mountable creatures, in between stages, these little dwarven thieves who try to steal your stuff when you sleep and you wake up and you beat them up and you get the potions back. It had almost like a magic button. You could build up magic, almost like a ninja magic in a way where when things got too hectic on the screen, you could you could kind of stop the enemies. Big boss fights, and then Death Adder at the time, beefy, muscle-bound executioner looking dude with the Golden Axe, and he was the main protagonist, and he's rampaging through the town, a whole bunch of prisoners and stuff like that. So the game has subsequent sequels. I felt like each one got a little worse, but I will say this: Return of Death Adder, arcade game at Sega. I'm mad at you. Why hasn't this game been re-released? I don't know what the hell's going on, but that was the return of Death Adder, the boss that we all love the most. So yeah, he's iconic. He's magic. He's got all these great, bro. Not only is he recreated faithfully, the thing that surprised me, where they got to get a lot of kudos, is I'm thinking boss rush. Okay, I'm just going to play this game. I'm going to fight these bosses and be done, right? Oh no, we are giving you stages, like 3 to 4 stages leading up to unlock the boss fight. So you go to the Total War dimension, which is the Golden Axe dimension. And you're like, okay, we got a couple of new enemies. And and I'm like, okay. And then remember, I haven't played Shinobi Art Adventures in a while, man. So I lost my little ninja skill. I'm like, okay, I got to do my platforming. I got to do what was my combos? What was my nimpo? What was the magics I was using? So it took me a while. Now, I will say, they advise, I believe you could only play this after you do like a certain midpoint of the game. I think it's the kaiju stage. Then you can attempt this, which I think is smart. This is advanced content. So yeah, you could try to jump in there. You're going to get wrecked if you are not seasoned. Now, for my real true Shinobi heads, I would not put this on the level of the Anko Rifts. The Anko Rifts are some of the hardest content, extra bonus content, secret level stuff that the game really challenges your full mastery of platforming, attacks, fighting, and everything. This is not that, but it's up there. It's up there. You go out there. The game does a great job of putting you in tight spaces where there's dangers and traps, enemies spawning. You know what I mean? Like, I like what they used to call the CME squad, where you hit that thing and then the enemies will come out and be really tough enemies. Sure. They have sections like that. They have platforming sections. But again, levels, at least 3 full levels prior to fighting Death Adder. Now you get to the fights. Bro.
Okay.
They did that. Listen, I'm not going to make no excuses. Death Adder had me throwing my controller a few times. He had me, bro. I was like, yo, he hits like a truck. Then it's kind of soulsy. You got to look for the patterns. You got to look for the tells. Then they got the nerve to be like, okay, yeah, you did that second form. What's up? Now we go crazy on you. What? Like, oh... Bro, I ain't going front. This joy had me testing every amulet, every ability, every ninja magic, I'm like, yo, he got me under pressure, bro. I don't know if I can do it. Eventually got it done. You get him out. And then you got, obviously, the city dimension. Bro, Goro Majima.
That's cool. So describe these levels to me. Like, how different are they from the traditional Shinobi levels, like visually speaking? Like, do they feel like they're really in theme with the character, or is it kind of like, oh, it's kind of Kamurocho? Like,
it's more the second. I feel the city dimension is more, and I got to subtract a point here. I felt like, don't get me, Ben Fakane, that's my guy, art team and the background team. We know how the Shinobi base game in terms of the backgrounds. Sure. The art style is gorgeous. New enemies, all that stuff. But I will say, I felt the Total War dimension, the Golden Axe dimension, was kind of bland as far as
a little bit that this
is. Yeah. You had some little architecture in the back, but it's very minimal. I felt for that one. I felt for Majima and Yakuza Joe. I felt that was good. You see, basically, here's the thing that surprised me. They're giving you a mini narrative. I didn't think there would be any type of narrative. When you start it, it's like, the two people who are helping you, the guy that controls the rift, and then I don't want to spoil it for people who didn't play, but that female character who eventually joins your cause, they're commenting like, hey, these rifts are opening up. You better inspect what's going on. This is, infringing on this dimension. So it's a cool little setup that I didn't think I was going to get any narrative, anything. I thought they were just going to say, go fight. So to your question, the City Lights dimension, I feel, is the best representation of cool background art stuff while you're going through the stages and navigating. But I won't say it's on the level of the base game where each area is so distinct. Each section is so distinct. It doesn't have that level of distinction. It has like an overall theme for each for the 2 to 3 stages prior to the boss fight. Gotcha. That's the best way I can describe it. But yeah, it's amazing stuff. The gameplay is tight. Everything's fun. You remember, I'm like, damn, I love this game. Like this game is amazing.
We'll be back.
Yeah, we back. So Gory Majima, great. And I gotta talk to y'all, man. Sonic fans. Sonic fans, man. Yeah. We had some fun. Eggman is in the building. Eggman is bad. I will say, from a thematic I have a nitpick though. Mm-hmm. With both of the other levels, you gave me full-on level experiences to get to Death Adder and then Majima. With Eggman, it's like you're kind of at Eggman. Like there's no lead up. Like I thought I was going to get a couple of Sonic stages, and then now what they do though is Sonic E. Like you like, that's there we go. We in the Emerald. Okay. And I will say it is the most adorable, hilarious fight you ever do.
I love that.
It's adorable and hilarious, and the game fakes you out without spoiling. But when the turn up happens, it's up. And the cool thing is, new every zone, new abilities, new Nimpo magics, new suits. You know what I'm saying? Also, you got a hardcore mode. You got a boss rush mode now after you beat all this stuff. So they give you stuff to do for people who've already played the game. So I will say, look, for a little $10, I ain't gonna hold you. This was more than I expected. I thought
it sounds very like. Spend a lot of time with it. Like, there's a lot of content. Yeah, it's pretty good.
You go bang it out 3 to 4 hours based on your skill levels. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's just going to be, because I will say though, the bosses are challenged. But yeah, Sega Villains update. Like I said, it's a free update. There's the DLC, which is the villains and the boss fight, and then there's the free update and stuff like that. And they really do a lot of. They got a hardcore mode. They got all these other different new options for the base game that you could do. And I really did a good job. So for those who missed out, it's time to get on the GOAT, man. This is the guy, man. Joe Wasashi, they did that. So that was being my main plan on that. And then the second one is a game we kind of share, which is Maximum. Yeah, Marvel Collection. So I guess I'll start off because mine will be brief because I ain't gonna hold you. I'm such a Surfer fanboy. Oh, no. That, like, bro, full transparency. As I was such a Sega kid back in the day, as the cops
coming for you, bro. They're like, this guy's only on the NES game that just crunches your nuts.
Bro, he's because I'm like, where am I joining? Like,
oh no, don't tell me you got it.
I didn't know. It's my man right here. Shout out to the Surfer. I had to buy one Surfer toy in my lifetime.
Live demonstration here.
Yeah, live demonstration. So, like, I did not know. I was such a Sega kid in my fanboy adolescence. Mm-hmm. I never knew a Silver Surfer game existed. I'm going to be real, for the NES.
Yeah, I didn't know
I never knew it existed. Later in life, I found out it existed. But at the time, I was a Master System kid. I went to Genesis. I'm not going to hold you, man. If I knew when I was young that this game existed, my timeline might have been different.
Yeah.
Bro, first of all, shout out to Limited Run Games. Mm-hmm. They have the original box art. They have the instruction manuals, the art from the team for the people that made the game. I saw the box art for this game. I would have bought, that's the era when you bought something off box art.
Yeah.
Bro, I was like, oh my God, this looks amazing. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing. For Surfer fans, very impressive. And in terms of, you had 4 or 5 levels. Because remember, I've never played this game fully. You know what I'm saying? I never had my own copy. If I've heard of it, I've seen it, but I never had my own copy because I don't have an NES, old school NES anymore. I don't think they never really ported it. So I used to watch a little playthrough of it, but bro, so you got your side scrolling levels, you know what I'm saying? You got your, horizontal, vertical, like you have different two styles of play. So basically this is an old school shooter. Surfer's a shooter. They have the nerve to have a cinematic narrative with Galactus in the beginning and talking to Surfer. Now, for the hardcore Surfer fans, which I really love, is you could kind of attack it like Mega Man, where they got 5 bosses, 5 zones. You pick which one you go to. I'm like, oh, this is like Mega Man with shooting. I'm like, yo, I'm going crazy. Now, for deep cuts, if you're a Surfer fan, you're going to know who the faces are. You're going to be like, oh, that's Fire Lord. I know who that boss is. I know what that face is. Oh, that's the Possessor from this. Like, it's deep cuts for fans who knows the lore and the villains and the scrolls and all the cosmic stuff. Now the game itself. These are the most sadistic devs in the history of development.
Okay. I don't know. I was smiling that whole time because I'm like, this dude's such a fan, and I love it because I played this and I was like, oh, this is what they did. The infinite life, infinite health. This is what they did. They did all this shit for, bro. Like the rewind function. I'm like, this game right here. It is wild.
God.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Bro. If I would have played this game in its original base form, the way these sadistic ass devs thought you was gonna play this, they are bugging. Anything, hit Surfer, fall, die. Even the side,
do the whole level over again. By the way,
whole level, bro. Are you kidding me? On one sitting, they expect you to do this for 5 worlds. Yeah. Are you kidding me? This is the most challenging, cheap, obscene difficulty of ever. It's completely unfair. Thank God for cheats, which I didn't use. All I use is the rewind function. Okay. So I mess up, boom, all right, rewind. Okay, cool. And then you get your little orbs, you get a little bombs, you get explosions, you get a little powers and stuff like that. So I just like from an aesthetic, I think for its time, graphically, it does look good for its time. But again, if these features were not in this game, I would have never beaten this game. I think there's like those, you ever watch those arcade long plays? There's people who have done it.
Yeah.
Like these are like savants, but like this was torture. This is what, like I say, all you people who talk about why can't you don't play Dark Souls, these are the reasons why. When I came up with the game.
Reminder with this one.
Do this with 3 lives on one sitting, and there's no save state. That's what I grew up with. That's Dark Souls. I've already put in my work. So all you From Software guys, I don't want to hear anything you're saying because us OGs, we paved the way for you guys. We come.
You had to pay sometimes. You had to like throw extra quarters in to keep going.
Bro, I'm from the era. Facts. Not only that, when you got the home version and there's no save state, you had to turn the TV off and leave your console on and hope that mom didn't turn off your joint by accident so you can remain where you're at because there's no saving anything. Like, bro, I come from that era. So this was a refresh. I'm just so happy to play this game. I did play a little bit of the X-Men arcade joint, Captain America Vengeance. I figure I'm going to save the Spider-Man talk for you because I know that's your bag. I'm not even going to touch that. But I was just so happy to see these classic games really brought back. And have you gone through the artwork and the stuff?
Yeah, that was the first thing I did. Yeah, it was really cool. They had the design documents for like Carnage. I thought that was
hell yeah. So tell me about the Spider-Man stuff because I've been on my Surfer love fest right now and I just can't get enough of it.
Yeah, I wanted to say first that the collection is for the culture. Like these games, by and large, like, I think the X-Men official arcade game is the most kick-ass by easily in that package, bro. That the music, the playable characters, the movesets, it's fucking incredible. And I didn't realize this until I started researching for the video. This is the first time that has been on a console. Like it never got a port to a home console, which is huge. That's why it's like, again, it's for the culture. Like these games have been spread out to the wind. And Limited Run just grabbed them and said like, hey, there's no real cohesion, really. Like there's no theming. It's just a bunch of old Marvel games. And like, we're just putting them in one place. What's also funny is this. Okay. So for those who have you watched Angry Video Game Nerd at all?
Yes, I have seen his stuff.
I love this guy. He's the reason I got started. Yeah, like literally the reason. No exaggeration. I was like this, like, him.
That's your guy.
I still watch him.
Nice.
He's still hilarious, but also like he inspired me to buy a camcorder and to start like making my own Angry Nerd videos and like trying to be like him when I was in middle school. And I distinctly remember people who went to my school finding my videos and making fun of me for it. Like like this was really a like fork in the road moment. And if he wasn't so like great and so inspiring and so funny, I think I would have given up because I was just kind of getting bullied over it, you know. But it was like not viciously by any means, but like it was definitely embarrassing when it happened. And people were
they was hating. They was like, stop copying him.
Or no, it was just like people like quote my videos to kind of mock me at the time.
Gotcha.
Yeah, okay. Like and like obviously when I was younger, like that was horrendous.
Oh, that's devastating. That destroys your morale. I
will say this. Let me. I didn't tell the rest of this story on Retro Rebound. Here's the full circle moment, right? Maddie hangs with it. This is why anyone who's listening, I'm going to give you the typical believe in your dream shtick because I hung with it because I cared about it. Coming to high school, Mr. Maddie becomes a thing a little bit, right? A little 20K subs. That's something.
Hell yeah.
Nothing to sneeze at.
Hell yeah.
Not those, I should say. 2 of the 4 people who were bullying me at that point came to me and were like, we'd like to do a YouTube channel. I'm like, oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Don't it feel good though? Don't it feel
good? I'm not spiteful like that, so I wasn't like an asshole to them, but like it was definitely one of those like, I won, you know?
Exactly. Look at me. Look at you now.
Yeah. Like, yeah, it's not so corny now, is it?
Talk. Let's go.
So yeah, like I don't say that to flex. It's more just to remind people because like to me, I've had a number of those moments in my YouTube career, and like I think that's what teaches you to just stick with what you love. You know, because ultimately, if you don't, like, where would I be? And I would have let them win. And like,
absolutely,
it's not about spiting them. But anyway, in Angry Video Game Nerds videos, he talked about this company LJN. You know, like they're the fucking devil themselves. And it's funny because we all got that publisher in our lifetime, where like you see that publisher's name and you're like, oh shit, this is bad. You know, LJN published the 2 Spider-Man games that are in this collection. I don't know if they published more to my knowledge, but those 2 I know they got their fingerprints on. So they got Spider-Man Maximum Carnage and Spider-Man Separation Anxiety, which just like the names alone, right? You just hear it and you go, bro, like this is golden. So there's bare essential beat 'em ups. That's where this is. And then there is premium beat 'em ups.
Right. Which
is what the X-Men official game is. I didn't realize this gap until this collection.
Oh, really?
You know, I've played bad beat 'em ups, don't get me wrong, but there were more obvious reasons because like really when I look at it, like Spider-Man Maximum Collection, it functions. Like it's totally fine, dude. Like you hit a bunch of enemies. You get to play Spider-Man or Venom. They got the audacity to have a little narrative, some comic book cutscenes. Like, cool, nice, you know?
Nice.
Especially because Carnage is like, you see him kill people in the opening of the game. I'm like, dude, fuck yeah. Like, I can't stand this PG-13 Carnage that we've been getting in everything. Spider-Man 2, he shows up. He's like, goodbye. See you in Spider-Man 3. We get him an Amazing Spider-Man 2, the video game. And they do jack shit with him. Like, he gets a whole movie with Venom. And it's PG-13.
That's crazy.
Like it's unbelievable. So I love that this game opened up like he kills people. I'm like, oh, finally. Yeah, so this game's got those types of moments. But it's funny because like you get to play Spider-Man or Venom, but they play the exact same. And again, it works. Like you're just punching and kicking enemies. It's not like that's really boring. It's more so there's no enemy types. There's no like stage interactions. There's no background movement. Nothing that's really challenging you. And the biggest challenge in the game is that when you start fighting one-on-one, the game auto grabs. So you'll just be like punching to like do health damage. And then the game will grab the enemy and you'll keep punching them. Now this is great in one-on-one. You just lock the dude down. You keep hitting them. You finish your combo, knock them down, feels great. The problem is when you have 3 dudes on you and you're grabbing one of them, and you're like hitting away, right? The problem is that hit when you're grabbing them, you know how like beat them up, they like stack on top of each other.
Yes.
I'm only hitting the dude I'm grabbing.
Okay. So the other, yeah. Okay.
So the other 2 aren't getting hit. So then they just, while I'm grabbing and I'm hitting, they hit me and knock me back.
I swear.
And that, yeah, exactly. It's like, all right, this happens a lot. It makes the stages challenging, but not in the traditional beat 'em up sense. So it's like a fun romp. And both games are like that. You know, you just have some moments of like, that's an old ass game. Like the second level in Maximum Carnage, you like have to wall crawl up a wall and there's just lightning bolts coming out of nowhere. It's just like when video games were, I mean, it's what's her name? Shriek, I think her name is. Mm-hmm. It's her powers, but there's no like real narrative to tell you that's what's happening. You just hear and you just see like little squiggly lines come across the screen. You're like, oh wow, games have really come a long way.
Yes.
So it's really a for the culture collection. Like that, yes. Like there's only a couple of games here. I'm like, this is fucking great. Mm-hmm. But Spider-Man Maximum Collection and Separation Anxiety being on like a modern game system and just available, I think that's a win. Yeah, you know, especially it's $25,
bro.
That's a win.
Can't beat it. I agree. Well said. And I think also I love that the fact they had some online functionality as well as also old school guys who remember like the CRT and the little scan line joints, you know, so they have those functionality if you're a purist and stuff like that. So shout out to, you know, Limited Run as well, you know, just getting this collection together, like you said, for the culture is perfectly said. I love what they did with that. But yeah, I'm with you on that. And I've been just smiling just because it's a reminder of how far we've come to the modern beat 'em up, the modern shooter. But to your point, I love the fact that these are games you really can't find anywhere. Like as a person, my mission in life, anytime there was a surfer game, anytime like I have to have it. Now I had on modern consoles, I get a chance to do it. And I'm in a renaissance now because between this, and I don't know if you know, they have brought back Marvel Heroes Omega in a shout out to my man Jay Sock Blast, and they put me on game, and so I'm in this perfect renaissance where I'm getting all the games that I want that included Silver Surfer in it. I'm just living my best life right now. So this is good.
Yeah, I really have enjoyed the game, but I think the one that I've enjoyed the most is still the X-Men arcade game. That is
classic,
pretty superb. Like it feels like, as someone who grew up playing a lot of the TMNT arcade game, I remember buying that on the Xbox Live Arcade, and I fired that up constantly. Just having that now available, awesome. I'll be buying that physically from Limited Run when it's available.
No doubt.
All right, the last game we can talk about that I am playing is I'm still at Pocopia in the background. I hope you all understand that. Like I'm just I don't have anything else to add, so just keep that in mind. But Mega Man Star Force Collection. I thought I'd have less to say about this because Capcom's been doing these collections for a while with the Mega Man series, right? They've done the Legacy Collection 1 and 2. They've done X Collection. Like they've done a lot of these collections. Zero, and they did Battle Network. And I thought, okay, let's just do that again, but Star Force games. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say something a pretty strong take here. I really do think, Cog, this is the best remaster package I have seen ever. You know, like we're talking just bringing old games back into a collection, right? Not talking about like the Bethesda style remaster. Like when we're talking what Marvel Maximum Collection did, what, you know, you're grabbing all these games and putting them together in one and being like, here you go. 1,000%, this is the best one that I think I've played because first off, you got to remember like Battle Network, I think the fans showed out for, and that was, you know, again, told by the sales numbers, like over 1 million sales for that game was really surprising. At least for me. I mean, I grew up with like friends who liked it, but it was because like I found Battle Network 5 at like Circuit City and introduced them to it. We all loved Pokemon, and like this became our new fixation. We loved Battle Network. And so we'd buy like the personal terminals, and they had chips in real life, and we'd like battle each other in real life. Like that is what this was for us. But I didn't think it was like a popular thing. So a lot of people showed out for it. But Capcom's put more effort into these as they become increasingly niche. And so Star Force Legacy Collection's vast amount of quality of life improvements, just recognizing any single potential issue that this game may have, and just being like, here you go, like we got it covered for you, and having an answer, it makes this like without a doubt, because there was mods for Star Force that kind of like fused these versions together, and they were considered the best way to play, but it's like not anymore. Like Capcom made the definitive versions of these niche games. Like I say this again as someone who loved Battle Network growing up, I had no idea up until like the 2020s that Star Force was even a thing. People were like, you know, because I made multiple videos, as I tend to do, talking about Battle Network and being like, yo, I love this series. Y'all got to try it. People were like, if you like this so much, you should try Star Force. Have you heard of it, Maddie? I'm like, what are they talking about? And it's that great feeling as an adult where you have a little bit of disposable income and you learn that this thing you love, that you thought your world was like this, right? It was like this small. And then it just got a little bit bigger. And I just found out there were 3 more Battle Network style games that take place 200 years after that series of 6 games, right? I'm greedy at this point. I got 6 games in my series here. Like, yeah, here comes 3 more. Not only that, but like the tone swap and everything. Like it's a much more serious story. It's a lot more depressing. And I look, man, there's a reason I love the X games over the Legacy games, and it's because I love depressed ass war torn Mega Man. I love that shit, bro. Call me an edgelord. It's fair. I think someone wrote in about it one week. Like, I definitely like the edgier shit. And X is 1,000% that. The X lore is like fucked up. So just getting back to that a little bit, I'm like, really? It was such a pleasant surprise because Battle Network is a very warm blanket. Like, let's go on the internet. We're all friends. Like, do.
Yep.
And here comes Geostellar, who's like, my dad died. Like, he just
I feel it though.
And so that combined with, again, these quality of life enhancements, it's wonderful. The quality of life enhancements, you can change how much damage your buster does. You can change how much money you get. You can turn off random encounters, which in what I've heard is Star Force 2 has really bad encounter rates where like it bloats the length of the game dramatically because they like fucked up something with it. So now there are dials to it. So you can straight up turn it off. You can just lower it a little bit. You can keep it at normal. You can turn it up all the way. And what's great about all of this is like, there are times where there are vendors hanging around that have like special battle cards are what they're called. And these battle cards are your abilities. So instead of grinding for a while, what you can actually do is just go into your settings option and be like, okay, turn up the Zenny, turn up the encounter rate, walk around, just fight a couple of times, and it just eliminates any grind that existed. Star Force has an end game. Like that is a lot more smoother now. Like it just eliminates any bit of abrasiveness in the products. It's so great. And again, this is combined with other things. Like this was a DS game. So you got to fight with that dual screen. Figuring out the controls for that. Hold the left trigger. It brings up the second screen. Then it brings it back to that slot. They have a literal aspect ratio that for vertical monitors, you can stack the 2 screens and then rotate your monitor so you can play it like it was on a Nintendo DS, but on these modern systems. And again, we're talking about obscure DS RPGs. And like Mega Man is like a popular series by volume of sales, but not by any single series or entry really even doing better than 2 million copies sold. This is just a volume beast. And so I look at that and I'm like, they put so much care into this thing. I'm really blown away. I've been loving this game way more. I mean, I knew, I was gonna like. I played the first Star Force game on my DS. I played it during a winter break, and I was like, "Yeah, this is some good shit." But I did not expect to be this hooked. Where I'm like, "Oh, I might take it all the way."
Let's go.
Like this is the first time a game bumped me from Pocopia.
You was in your bag with that.
Yeah, still am. Not going anywhere. But like, I'm thinking about how we were talking about. I'm going on vacation soon. I'm like, because I got they sent me a code for PlayStation. I'm just like.
Oh, is that?
How am I going to take this?
How are you going to take it?
Yeah. So that's when you start pre-planning. So it's been great. It's been really, really great. So that and all the quality of life enhancements. They added a sprint feature, just little things like that. There were exclusive battle cards that you could only get in Japan. They brought those in. Battle Network Legacy Collection did that. So you could just straight up download them. And they're all these busted ones. There were battle cards that you could only get because basically there was this, I'm going to go into some deeper lore. There's this anime called Mega Man NT Warrior. And like, it was basically based around the Star Force games and the Battle Network games. And they had their own collectible cards for both these series. And eventually the battle cards became things that you could get and then put into like your DS and like you could scan them in or something like that and get these new abilities to use in the game. And they just give you all those now. So this is just all available to you. And it's just a playground of like awesome Mega Man shit. So yeah, absolutely love it. I mean, obviously I'm a Mega Man fan, but really like it is one of those things where if you're kind of on the fence and you're like, I've heard Maddie talk a lot about these Mega Man RPGs, like start here, go ahead. Like having Battle Network context is sick. it does add a lot to the game.
Right.
But you don't fully, I think, need it from what I've played thus far.
Okay.
But these are really great games, man. Like the definition of slept on, because now knowing, pardon me, like how poorly they sold. And, you know, again, they did like 9 of these things. So eventually, you know, the fatigue is going to set in. But seeing them come back, seeing the fans so happy, just really cool. So, yeah, this has been a nice surprise here. Been really enjoying what time I can put in the Star Force collection.
Super dope. Super dope.
All right, Cog.
Yo.
It's time to round out the show with our final news item of the week. It's an obvious one for those of you listening. You already know. We're talking about the Xbox Game Showcase, which, as expected, lands on the Sunday afternoon or morning, depending on what time zone you are in, or maybe even evening. But nonetheless, it lands there on the Sunday of the Summer Games Fest weekend, June 7th, 10 a.m. Pacific time, or your regional equivalent. 2 things confirmed here that really got the Xbox community like, oh, okay. First, obviously, Gears of War E-Day Direct. It got the slot. So Cog and I texted you, Cog, and I said, I believe we called this. When we started to adjust based on Fable, we were like, I think it's E-Day.
Yeah.
So that was 1. 2, Xbox Fan Fest is back. And I actually want to open with that one because you have spoken about this a lot. I thought about you right away. And I want you to underline why this, if it is, important. Because I know you said earlier in the show, you're like, Asha's doing some things and indicating she's listening. So what is Xbox Fan Fest? Why is it significant that it's coming back?
This is a huge deal. I don't want to understate this. I know I've been on a very... she's got a lot to prove to me, you know, kind of deal. I'll be honest. And I'm still going to be on that. I'm still going to be on that one in terms of games. And, you know, I look at what I consider year 2 when the team is being shaped under your realm, as opposed to you have a lot of things that are in motion that has already been in motion and you're just kind of executing, right? But I got to be fair. And this is a huge deal. The reason why this is a huge deal is because, you know, I know we're in the age of parasocial relationships, but the reality is this: when you are the 3rd place brand, no one rocks with you. And the reality is that if you actually have people that like you as the 3rd place, last place brand, it's imperative that you do stuff to show your appreciation. The reason why FanFest is so important is because at the time of E3 and full swing E3, where it's the business show and only industry people could go in there. And then at that time, Nintendo does their showcase. These were when they were live. You know, PlayStation does their showcase. Xbox does their showcase. This is when you would go. And I mean, if you were able to attend, you would be able to sit in a theater while the Phil Spencers or the whoever comes on stage delivers the E3 showcase, you know, for them, for their respective company, and you'd get that live reaction. For me as a gamer, my whole dream was to go to E3, right? Not even just E3, really, honestly. My dream was to be in the theater that any of these conferences happen when the new games get announced. I want to know what that
audience is like. That's something that needs to come back, dude.
Bro, I missed the live presentation, the showmanship. I know executives probably hate it because they were probably on pins and needles reading from a prompter, being on stage.
The cringe compilations every year?
Hell yeah.
I'm sure they're not complaining, but dude, that is an energy specifically. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. I just want to say that is an energy very specifically missing from gaming nowadays that I think would be a welcome return. And I think there would be some sort of return on investment into getting us there, of like getting fans together, cheering announcements. But also, like, were we more naive back then? Do you think nowadays cynical people would like boo announcements and shit? Like,
I know it's just a different.
Do people look at BlizzCon like, don't you guys have phones? And it's like, you know,
it's a good point. It's a good point.
Out of the room. I don't know.
No, it's a great point because we have changed as a culture and we're a little bit more disrespectful when we don't like something. So yeah, you come out, you drop some garbage on stage and, you know, the energy could be different in this climate. But back then it was, gaming felt so high end, you know, not tangible for a common gamer to even attend something like this. So for me, and most I know my journey, and the reason why, like I said, Xbox is a brand that I really liked, is that fact that I found out about this thing called FanFest, and people were like, yo, there's this thing that happens, you know, there's no guarantee that you get to go except to it, but you fly to LA, you basically stay in think of it like kids going to get Jordans. when the new Jordans come out and you go to the mall and everybody's like, they're standing online into the morning till the mall opens up and then they get their number 5 online so they can make sure they get it. It was that energy. So you got all these Xbox fans going to a mall in, I believe, like Beverly Hills or wherever it was, right? They closed the mall on us, right? You stay on night. I'm sleeping on the concrete. This is how friendships were made. You know what I'm saying? Like this, you love this brand if you spend a night in a random mall in a city on the floor sleeping. Yeah. So this is the energy, the camaraderie. And what happens is the next morning, you'd see the Phils, the Major Nelsons, all the executives. I believe at the time, man, all these people come out. And they're like, hey, man, you guys are our number 1 fans. We're going to take care of you. We got something really special planned. They give you little treats of food and you suffered, goddamn it. I think I got like a State of Decay.
Give some money to the poor,
Yeah, they like it was like a State of Decay, trail mix pack. It was labeled in State of Decay too.
How kind of a $1 trillion organization. Yeah.
How kind of them to make us, to give us sustenance. A little bit of foolishness. So you get online and then at that point, everyone's like, yo, bro, we're going to get to go to the conference. I think there's enough tickets for everybody here, kind of thing. So it's that kind of energy. So they round you up. And then at the time, it was like the USC campus was the original place where I went to go in 2015. So they round us up in the theater. And then this is where like they give you Xbox shirts and a little swag bag. You know what I'm saying? So you're like all happy. You got a little something. And they feed you. We got breakfast. Yeah. So then we got there. Okay, cool. And then at that point, mission accomplished. You got in. You're able to go to attend the conference, the Microsoft press conference where they will announce the game. So mission accomplished. I flew from New York to LA. I'm like, yes, I'm around Xbox fans. This is a camaraderie. It's awesome. And then at that time, Phil Spencer comes out and he's like, hey, you guys are number 1 fans. And by the way, not only do you get this access, it's like Price is Right. And you got a new car. Where, it's like, you get to go to E3. You're like, so everybody's going, whoa, what? And remember that at that time was only industry and, business. Like you had to be a developer or a media outlet. Like it didn't matter if you're a content creator. Yeah, like this is high end. So you like all 3 days, you get a special pass. And that was the day when you had that pass. If, a new game, let's say at the time, I think Division 1 came out or whatever it was. And like, you're like press. You have access just like them to go to the front of the line. You don't have to wait on the line with any common folk. Like, bro, it's amazing. So
common folk,
bro, it was very VIP energy. And bro, like people share it. I remember when I did it, people were telling me they saw me on the Xbox dashboard with like when Halo 5 was there and the stat, bro, it was crazy. So people are like, yo, we going. And every year more people would come. So anyway, that's kind of my brief history with it. As it went on, the perks got subsequently, less. It got watered down. And it became going to a theater to watch it with people. Okay, fine, whatever. But as we now head towards the end of the Phil and the Sarah era, I'll be honest with you, Manny, what really I felt a big way, very angry, was when not only did they say, hey, we're not doing FanFest anymore, we are now eliminating it, but Gamescom, they will have a FanFest. So now you couple this with this is the Xbox marketing stuff, right? Which feels like a slap in the face to the hardcore. You couple this with now what got you here with Xbox FanFest, your core base, you're removing that. And then, so everything is like, we're catering to the new shiny things and we don't care about you anymore. That's the energy that gave off. And you can't tell me $1 trillion company can't do it because a lot of this stuff is tax write-off. I know the game. So like, it just felt very disrespectful. Like, damn. So you're like, all right, they're not doing it no more. It sucks. And I believe the community, shout out to, Ben Kenobi and those guys. They ran their own event one year and stuff like that. And that's cool. But it felt disrespectful. It felt like you got your bread. You're rich now. You don't need us. And you go away. So to me, for Asha to bring this back, let's be clear. She doesn't have the history or the sensibilities, but she understood how important this was. Now, again, we don't know what form it's going to come back in. It could still, just be go meet in the theater, which is fine. It's just the principle of it coming back. And I have to admit,
free wins. Yeah.
Free W, whoever is advising her, great. And the fact that she's executing on this, great. So
you think, could this be? I mean, she said he's advising. Does this Matt Booty's work?
I've been kind of alluding that I feel it's a combination. If I had to guess, the people who still have the most sensibilities in the building, you know, and again, no disrespect to Asha, she's doing a fantastic job, but she's new, right? She's figuring things out. I'm going to say it's Booty and a combination of him and Jason Ronald.
Yeah.
Because Jason Ronald's leading the hardware, but also he's a hardcore guy himself. And then I got to give, like, he would know. And to his credit, like, you know, she kept him on as part of the regime change to lean on from an Xbox Game Studio standpoint. So I feel it's a combination of this brain trust around her. If I had to be honest, I think it's Jason Ronald and Matt Booty. Like, this was on the bucket list of things of what they really want. And to her credit, I remember when she, you know, had made her announcement, hey, what do you guys want to see? And this, that, and look, I get it. I know people clown the wall thing and I wasn't on it and all that. And I know people gave me flack and all that. But my thing is, you got to prove yourself. You do things like this. This is how you gain free W's, right? Just get the garner the base and make them feel it because your brand damage is so bad. You know what I'm saying? Don't penalize the people who actually, the few of them that actually love your brand. Yeah. So I think this is a significant thing. So we'll see what form it comes into. But I will say, like, to see my timeline of people hitting me up, I'm going to tell you, the Xbox community right now is reinvigorated. And I ain't going to hold you. If she keeps this up, people are already forgetting about past regimes already in this early state.
I don't think there's much missing Phil right now. I mean,
I'm just going to call it how I see it in these early stages. I still got to judge her by games, year 2, her decisions of what she envisioned, what her true directives are in a post-past regime world. But this is a fantastic start. I really love this. And kudos to the team for bringing this back. We'll see, you know, how it goes and stuff like that. But I did want to put a signal boost on this because this is important. Sure. And this is how you kind of gain trust back.
Do you have any mixed emotions like me in that I do look at it and understand its importance at the same time as kind of like this, again, I go back to the parasocial stuff and I find it a little concerning because they are leaning into that aspect a bit, you know, like I don't know, maybe it's because we are sometimes subjects of that harassment. Like when they get riled up, it's like, you know, I don't want them to be unhappy, to be fucking clear, but it's just like one of those things where it's like them getting that parasocial connection leads to the emotional crashing out. And I just, that's more what I worry about. Like not less us, but more like when Asha makes a decision that, I mean, she's not going to be 10 out of 10 the whole time. I'm not trying to set her up for failure. Just that's how it's going to be, that if there is a sense of betrayal, these sorts of things are what invite that in.
That's a fair assessment. I mean, please finish your thought.
No, I was just saying, I'm curious if you feel that sense of like, it's a mixture of like, hey, this is great. Like my face value take was I saw this and went, I texted you. I was like, this is great. I was like, okay. But there's also like the underlying kind of gnawing of like, are we inviting trouble back in again? Like, because there's some, I combine, to me, like we're talking about combinations of things, right? To me, I combine this with like the rumor of her looking to make Game Pass cheaper. And I'm like, okay, we kind of went down this route with Phil and Sarah and Matt of like, it got increasingly parasocial. And then on top of that, they were making this platform very affordable and successfully so. We were sitting every week, we're like getting write-ins, you know, hey, it's so cheap to buy in. I spent like $45 and went home with the Series S on an all access plan and Game Pass. Like they kept it cheap. Like they did these things and it feels like she's going back to that if rumors combined with like a fan fest are to be believed. So that's why it's this mixture of like, yeah, like, okay, cool. But like also if she makes a bad decision, how much understanding is she going to get compared to what Phil and Sarah went through and they were loved as well.
Yeah, you know? No, for sure. And it's a fair point. Look, I have a different mindset clearly when it comes to these type of things. And I think for me, I think it's fair to say when you form parasocial relationships with your base, you run the risk that people have an emotional, deep connection, which is good for brand loyalty and stick-to-itiveness, but also can backfire when things don't go their way and people think that they're legit friends and you've betrayed me because of your decision making. Look, most sane people understand that they are running $1 billion, $1 trillion business, whatever it is, and they're going to make decisions that we are not going to like at some point. That's just the reality of it. However, my pushback to the parasocial crowd is this. On one hand, we could say this is a mistake. They shouldn't be doing this. Shouldn't they have learned their lesson? I get that. The other hand, I could say is, okay, let's look at the opposite approach. Let's look at the approach of you have no connection with your base. Let's use the Jim Ryan approach, right? There was no public things. There's no community event. There's no him speaking to fan. If he spoke to someone, he spoke to someone at GQ, whatever. I think at the end of the day, what it all comes down to is a result business. If we sat there and look at the Jim Ryan formula and say, okay, you closed all these studios, your live service initiatives didn't work, you did all this, but he didn't talk to the fans. You see what I'm saying? It's like, so we could use that example of saying he completely was not parasocial, but he didn't execute. And most PlayStation fans, I would have to admit, did not like his reign. Outside of maybe his dominance in reestablishing Europe and maybe the blockbuster focus of making The Last of Us movie and, stuff like that. But I think most PlayStation fans, if they're honest, they will say his reign was not a great reign. And now PlayStation is in recovery mode for it. So that's the thing. So you could have two things be true. It just comes down to the results. That's what I feel. I feel like ultimately you've got to execute. If you don't execute, it doesn't matter how many babies you kiss on. I mean, how many people think you're your friend on social media? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It's kind of like, instead of using, you view it as advantageous if they're not using it to compensate. Like, it's possible Phil and Sarah and them kind of use it as a crutch, where if this is sort of a, hey, come on in, the water's fine, and we're going to keep doing our thing, that's not a problem. It's just kind of additive.
I think it's additive, but again, it's all good for Phil and Sarah when you're able to deliver content and the things that you promise. But then when it turns on you is when now the things that you promise, okay, now you're not doing exclusives anymore. After you said Starfield was exclusive, you see what I'm saying? That's the way it turns on you. And that's, I'm hoping, is the lesson learned. See, I'm a realist. I know that she's going to do something I don't like. I'm already of the mindset. There are many people who are fooling themselves into thinking like everything is going to be a go, because I know they are not my friends. They are trying to run a business. Yeah. That's what people have to separate. And as much as I love something and I'm praising the early moves, I listen, I'm the biggest skeptic of the new regime. I'll be honest. Right? I am the biggest skeptic.
I'm right there, hand in hand.
Right. Because I'm not ready to anoint anyone, anything. It is, to me, this is like a new election. You have to earn my vote. What I will say is, man, you're off to a good damn start. And I love how your mindset, and maybe, just maybe, as a person who loved Phil in the past regime, maybe, just maybe, if you continue down this path, you say, you know what? Maybe a person without the deep Xbox connection and maybe can make some cold, hard decisions where I'm going to judge her. This is just between me and you. My biggest thing was the mismanagement, the Halo, the Redfalls, Call of Duty being the worst Call of Duty one year under, that you have it. I want to know what you do with your process so that these games that are floundering or making mistakes or that want to be shut down or need course correction, how do you handle that when it's you now, when these are your draft picks? Right now, you're eating off the past regime's thing. Phil set that up. I mean, no disrespect. This is all these games that are coming out this year.
That shit in order for sure.
So respectful of her, dope. Execute, make things go smooth. That's cool. I want to hear year 2 past now Clockwork Revolution. What you signing off on? What games you doing? Like, what decisions you make? Like, are you going to continue the Japanese focus? Are you going to, what's the quality of the games? Now, I will say this, man, in fairness to her. I think one of the biggest things you could say outside of the Indiana Jones, outside of Forza Horizon 5, you could say that one of the biggest things is they didn't have a true blockbuster game of the year, consistent 90 Metacritic style games.
This is the year they might with Fable.
I know, it's kind of crazy. Yeah. But see, I'm like, that's filth. I'm all like, that's past regime.
I agree.
But I will say, like, year 2, year 3, and you producing quality. And here's the thing, what I like so far, which I'm hoping continues. It's like, usually we go about 2 Dukes before Rake. Let's be honest. We got about 2. Sometimes it'd be 1 Duke. We get 1 good, and then like, oh, here comes the Rake. Like, show a competitive consistency.
That's the thing that I think she has shown thus far, at least, is she understands optics very well. I don't think past regime wanted to make a headline out of killing This Is an Xbox, but she understands the value of being like, or their team understands the value of being like, people don't like this. Like, let them know we don't like it too.
Yeah.
And then her kind of like talking about FanFest and making a tweet about it and saying, as a, you know, she's kind of using the messaging to her advantage. Like, as I claimed with the return to Xbox, we're bringing back FanFest. Like, it's a focus thing, and it's kind of an alignment thing. It's 100%. It's recontextualizing the brand a little bit. And I think the other benefit is we haven't heard from Satya outside of him stepping out and saying, you know, privately, he supports them, but there hasn't been any of him like on a stage going, we're redefining what it means to be an Xbox fan, right? Like, I think if it stays like this, sure, we could see it being smooth sailing. The other question is, who else is taking interviews, right?
Yes.
She should be. Matt Booty should be. Should that be it? Because we're seeing Jason Ronald's doing more, but like, what I think chewed them up as well is like conflicting talking points.
Absolutely.
You know? Like conflicting ideologies, conflicting philosophies. Like, it was bad at one point.
Absolutely.
During that, Amy Hood saying one thing, Tim Stewart saying another, Phil and Sarah saying another. Like, you could feel the civil war. It was terrible. Terrible. So I think she understands optics and how at least that is the easiest Band-Aid to put on right now. But I agree with you that the sort of long term of like what she green lights is going to be very telling alongside Matt Booty. I did talk to a couple of devs in AAA, and they seem to have the same indication that others do of like, there's been enough high profile failures that I think you're going to see. When I say safe choices, I don't mean like cautious games, but like what people want. And Xbox certainly has a slew of things that they could pick up and do that people want. And if you're someone like Asha who understands optics, I am sure she will still claim these W's like her own, even if they are not that, because if you need to embolden the brand, that is what you must do.
Absolutely.
She must claim Fable like it is her own.
Oh, I got to.
You know, if Fable's fire is like, yep. You're here. I knew it all along, you know,
for sure.
E-Day and everything like that. Like, she has to champion those things. So I think we'll see a little bit more of that across the industry, but Xbox could benefit a lot with this timing, where what's also kind of moving to their benefit is sort of where AI seems to be trending. There is a little bit of bubble bursting at the same time as acceptance. You know what I'm saying? Like, when Owlcat was like, yeah, we use it as a tool, nothing's final. Like, everyone's giving the same generic response where the acceptance has set in, at least for people like me. Y'all are doing it. Everyone's doing it. God, it's fucking hopeless. You're all doing it. There's no, you'd be stupid to get upset if people are using standard AI tools nowadays. By the way, before anyone tries to go for the call out, I'm not talking about DLSS 5. Standard AI gen tools. You'd be foolish to get upset because everyone is doing it. So as that acceptance is coming in at the same time as really shitty parts of AI, like OpenAI just blowing up in their face, it's like there's this level of, if I saw Rebs Gaming reported like Xbox or Halo Studios is using AI tools for more than they claimed it was just for emails and stuff. And then they're hiring for a workflow innovation team. And they say they're implementing tools into existing work cycles, and it's for creating art, narrative stuff, design. Like, yeah, dude, like they're clearly using Gen AI for the next Halo game. Wasn't really a major headline though. And like Halo is a fucking stickler for that one, bro. Like, it's easy to get a Halo fan pissed off, and but it didn't really make the major waves. And I'm wondering if it's because there's a level of acceptance kind of coming in of like, all right, like,
I didn't even know it was just some generation AI stuff came out. I didn't even know. That's crazy.
Yeah, but the tools they are using is for more than just emails.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, I look at that sort of stuff, and I think, like, again, that's something in Asha's favor. You know, people came in fearing the big AI chief.
Right.
And I think there is still reason to, you know, but like,
the history, the background,
for it.
Right.
Yeah, she is for it. You know, what does that mean? How much does she stay her hand? Because, you know, like with AI, you know, it's all these companies are saying like, we hate AI slop too. Like, it's because they think their own version of AI is like the non-slop version. They all fucking suck, dude. That's the thing that they haven't accepted yet. They know, but they're just not saying it out loud. So yeah, I'll be keen to see how she manages the optics a year or two from now, when it's like she's more on her own 2 feet.
I think you're onto something too with the deeper cut as to, I don't want to get too gassed up, you know what I'm saying? But like, the deeper cut, I do sense it's the trend in the sense that the deeper cut is what is Microsoft doing here? What is their role? Because you could be the head of Xbox all you want, but what is the top level doing? What is the Amy Hood saying? And what I've been reading, I do sense now. Remember when we used to see the FTC leaks and we saw Amy kind of challenging Phil in terms of like, you're building a moat and this spend and, you know, maybe the overinvestment with cloud or the overinvestment with the ABK thing. And how are we going to get out of this? You know, like almost inferring like she didn't see a clear vision and as far as investment. Oh, I'm seeing new things in these Bloomberg reports. And the vibe I'm getting from, I forgot this, I'll send it to you, is that it's almost Satya questioning. It's almost like, are we over-investing with this AI? I'm going to have to put pause on some of this stuff that you guys are doing because I don't know if we're going to see immediate return on this. Now, I don't want to say extreme, and I'm going to send it to you. Unfortunately, the article that I have, it's a paid thing, and I do subscribe to Bloomberg, so I'll send it to you, but unfortunately, you know, they hit you with the thing. But the gist of it is pretty much saying, like, you know, she is very... not completely out on AI, but very skeptical on the spend. And
I mean, I hear like Vince Carter, you know, come on, just fucking tears running down my face. Come on.
Yeah. Like they talked about her, you know, even back then when she was very skeptical about HoloLens and just over investment. She's very good and respected on this way. So I'm seeing this pushback slightly with AI. And what I'm basically trying to tie this into is that Asha may be the beneficiary of a Microsoft regime, which Phil wasn't afforded with, that is now course correcting and saying, wait a minute. And so maybe there is a snippet of truth when Satya comes out now and says, oh, no, we're in about game. We care about Xbox. This is a core pillar of what we do. You know what I'm saying? Because I thought that was interesting. And I did. Remember we saw Asha's statement with the AI slop and all that. And I'm like, she got Satya. Come on, we know these are control POCs.
Yeah, that was when the Satya slop conversation was fresh. You know, this is before DLSS 5. This is like when people were still clowning Microsoft for AI slop, and it's like, she's saying that?
Exactly. So there's a part of my thinking that says he's under pressure because now you cleaned house. It's like sports. Yeah, it's like sports. You clean out the coach. You get all these players. It's on you, JM. It's on you, David. Like, then your job is in jeopardy if you don't execute and you don't provide bottom line and return on investment. So that's what I think is a slight change here. And I'm going to monitor. I'm not getting too gassed. Like, oh, it's a new day. Xbox all the way back, bro. We ain't doing that. What I'm doing is just saying there are a couple of factors here that may line up as to why things seem to be going in the direction of what Xbox fans like.
Sure.
And I'm hoping that is something that continues. I'm being mindful here. I don't want to get too gassed, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something to monitor. Like, I don't think it's fair to... I think it's fair to be completely neutral on them right now, is what I would say. Like, it's one of those things. I don't agree with the people who are getting on the bandwagon and they're like, oh, we're so fucking back. I'm like, I don't think after all the years of trauma that this put us through, I don't think it's right to immediately give them the door wide open and be like, yep, welcome back, pal. Like, you know, when the homie gets that new girl, you don't see him for like a hot minute and then he comes back, he's like, I'm single now. And how many of y'all really want him back in that moment? Like, you want him back, but do you really want him back in that moment? Be like, yeah, bro, come hang. You got to sit. You got to have that talk. Be like, bro, the fuck was that? You know, we exist too, right?
Yeah.
So that's where we got to be at, I think, with Xbox, right? I don't think you have to be dooming about them. No. I don't think there's good reason to right now. You know, it's just right now they're in this transitionary phase and they're saying the right things, revealing the right things, not saying too much, not saying too little. So we'll watch and we'll see. But definitely worth keeping our eye on, no doubt. And I'm egerly awaiting as we kind of transition this the summer showcase, because I feel like I'm waiting for when she has to come out of hiding.
Yes, showcase is that was literally my point.
In-person interviews.
Yes, I need to see. To me, from the South Bronx, but I gotta look you in your eye. I gotta see what your energy is. I gotta see. I'm gonna learn the fakeness or the idiosyncrasies, or I'm gonna learn the realness, or I'm gonna learn. Okay, all right, you know what I'm saying? And again, doing the right things. But there's also when you're the king or the queen, when you gotta do that public presentation when the lights are on. How do you respond to that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see her, she's going to come out in the showcase. And then now, I'm assuming you're transitioning to obviously the E-Day stuff, if that's where we're going.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like this is big. We predicted it, right? We felt like, okay, Fable, they gave us Fable. We're like, okay, early at the top of the year, there's probably no need to be redundant again. They'll let us see that. We'll probably see it at the showcase, but for it to be the spotlight game would be kind of redundant on a level. We all felt Gears can hold that heavyweight spot.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw Gears Social when they put this out.
I did not. I don't have Twitter on my phone. So I was out and yeah, I know, right? I was out and it's a funny story real quick. I tried to record a car vlog, like talking about this to try to like put something on Maddie Slap, but every time I hit a bump on the highway, it just sounded like a gunshot was going off in the video. I got to get one of those like lapel mics and actually like cut the car sound. Anyway, I saw it. I was hyped about this, but I did not see the social reaction to this. So I'm curious, what were people saying?
So the socials, when they put the post up, it was pretty intense. And it's like, okay, first of all, it's going to be hilarious because it's a very deep cut for ILP, which is hilarious. Obviously, one of the famous lines from King David or ILP at peak Call of Duty was hold the line, right? So the funny thing about it goes, you held the line. But this is the part that's hilarious to me. I've never seen social. Now get ready to lock the fuck in. Excuse me? Excuse me, Gears of War?
We're cool too, F-bomb. Yeah, we love that.
Like, okay, see you on June 7th, for the worldwide reveal of Gears of War. That's a bold social play from the Gears of War account. I'm like, okay, Gears of War, like, you outside. And look, you know how I feel about going back to the essence. So you already know I feel this is the right decision. But it's a level of confidence. It's a level of we're ready to show some stuff. And it is coalition. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. I think I'm excited to know where they go with it. I'm excited to see two things. One, from a gameplay standpoint, do they evolve the formula on someone? I felt like Hive Busters was them flirting. I want more evolution. I know it's a prequel or whatever, but from a gameplay standpoint, give me some evolution, yo. Come on. I mean, we love Cover. We love Curb Stomp. We love Revving Up the Chainsaw. Give me some new things that is going to get me excited and breathe life into the franchise. Also, multiplayer, bros. I'm sorry. Y'all know how I get you, bro. Right shotgun roll, trash. Sorry. I don't care what you say, because you can say, look at the numbers. And y'all ain't got no engagement. Nobody's ever talking about we playing. Ain't no homie ever hit you up, yo, we doing Gears of War multiplayer tonight.
Yeah, it's a very specific crowd, unfortunately.
I hate to break it to y'all. Y'all the hardcore, all five of y'all on that map rolling and shotgunning. That's not what the public wants. I'm sorry. You gonna have to change this formula to make it popular for the masses. I would like to see if multiplayer is included, which I'm assuming maybe it is. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that a little bit too, is they have the sweet issue that Halo has. It's like, where's my campaign? Where's my horde? Where's my multiplayer? Like, they got to hit those three custom matches. Like, go ahead. So they got a challenge ahead of them.
I want the trophy. You got to do something with that formula. And I hate it, Gears Bros. I know you're hardcore. I know you're stubborn. You got to do something different. So that's what I'm hoping for with you got to change it up. You got to do something. You know what I mean? So I'm confident in base Coalition Gears of War. I'm pretty confident that it should be solid. Even if they went the extreme safest route, which would roll my eyes a little bit, I know that'll be a solid game. We'll get good story. I just want some now. Gears is a premier franchise. We need to level this thing up. So I'm curious, because the way they talking do sound like something is cooking. So I'm excited. To see people get excited about Gears, because a lot of people do feel Gears should be now,
should be bigger.
Than what it is, kind of. And we got the data, right, from that Reloaded on PlayStation. Ain't really
not enough noise.
So you got a lot to prove. So we'll see. But I'm excited. Wait, what's your thoughts on E-Day? What you want to see? What do you think they might do? Where you at?
Yeah. I am very excited, because I think it has. What's exciting is we know very little. we know only what they've given us. There haven't been really any leaks at all. So we only know like this is Dom and Marcus, like they're returning to that era. They got the original actors back, and it's before Gears 1. And so like it's just, that's really it. We have a sense that it's going to be more dark and gritty based on interviews. And so that's what I want to see. I want to see a lot of two things in action. One, I want to see more of a horror-driven Gears of War. I think that would be cool. Two, I kind of want to see something more. When I say focused, I don't mean linear hallways. But I think Gears 5 and had a little bit of an issue where it was a cool change. I think it's natural we got to that point. But I don't think it delivered in the way that other Gears games have, where like you get on that, I forgot what the vehicle is called, but you're like able to go around the snow environments. And it's kind of open hub exploration. Again, I get why we got there. Great for the time. But I realize I value more is the more focused co-op driven level design. Like we're going to go upstairs in the stadium and I'm going to be shooting down from the rafters, taking out enemies for you while you're like navigating on that lower floor to unlock something so that I can progress on the upper level. That sort of synergistic level design that really thinks about co-op, that's what I hope to see on display. That would make me really excited is if they really dialed in on the co-op, because when you go back and you play specifically Gears 2 and 3, because like Gears 1 is amazing, I think, but Gears 2 and 3, you know, like Cliffy B and the team went, oh, we got something. Yes. Oh, yeah. Because again, you play Gears 1, you don't like, people talk about the emotionality of the story of Gears, but you don't realize it's really 2 that just takes that shit to the next level where they went, oh, yo, like this. Watch this. Watch this shit, you know? Yeah. Like, let's talk about Maria a little bit, you know? Yes. Like, yes. So I just hope they drive it through thinking about, because those games felt so much like they were thinking about 2 players at every time. And 100%. I love that they were making choices like, you know, do you want to go on the upper level? Do I go on the lower level? Like that shit I thought was so awesome, and kind of setting up these co-op set pieces where it wasn't just hunkering down in hub areas and cover shooting with your boys. Not bad. Again, it works. It's great. I like Gears 5. The first half is some of the best Gears you can get. The second half is where a lot of things fall apart. But it's more so that I hope they go, if this is truly focusing on the originals, I want to have that original feel then. I want there to be focus. It can still be bigger and more exploration, but when you get to those big campaign moments, I want to like really have that focus of co-op. I think that would be a great feeling.
No, that's a good call out. I remember now. You're taking me back to, you know, the Gears 2 and Gears 3, those moments where it truly is dependent. It had like mini Joseph Ferris's moments where it's like, you know, say those games.
A little bit.
Yeah. You know, like you need your homie to come through because now, you know, he's going to give you cover and fire, or you got to get through just little sections that it added. It was really special. And I also, I'm a big horde mode guy. If you give me a horde, bro, I love horde mode. I felt they've regressed the last couple of horde games. You got to go back to that Gears 2, Gears 3 kind of horde. Like I loved it, and it changes up in different maps and just locking in and getting your fences. I love that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how they'll do it because it's a conflict of interest. They need to explore the new gameplay and evolve that while making Dom and Marcus their youngest.
I know it's weird.
Least capability at that time. So they're probably going to have to drive it through a weapon or equipment or something like that. But I'm hoping they look at some of the core pieces of Gears and just think, how do we take that a step further? Like executions, right? With the chainsaw. You know, there's so many times we just run up, we jog through the middle of the battlefield. And what is the next step of executing enemies? Do they look at that and think about it that way? I think they got to ask themselves those sorts of questions. And if they have an answer for all that, like, actually, I'll throw out a random one, like hand-to-hand combat. Like you can fucking lay them out. And then there's more contextual, like when they're on their back, then you can like drive the chainsaw into them.
Crazy.
Yeah. Or just using the chainsaw as a melee weapon. You know, those are ways that I hope they kind of look at the original Gears and be like, here's what we know, you know. This is where we introduce cover shooting. This is where we introduce the chainsaw, et cetera, et cetera. And here's how we're rethinking it. If they do that, oh boy. It's like people are going to be popping bottles.
Oh yeah.
At the same time, I gotta echo what you were saying. That multiplayer needs a look. It needs a look, bro. The question is, they do one of two things? Do they Halo it, you know, separate, or do they do it like a complete package, like pay for this and you get the campaign, you get the horde mode, you get like everything together? Because what Halo did, I mean, I guess it worked, 20 plus million players for Infinite, just didn't sustain.
Right.
But do you drop multiplayer as like a separate thing that you update over time? Like, I'm just curious, because keep in mind, we haven't seen Coalition. I mean, we've seen them. They've co-developed things. They did the Matrix thing, like for the Unreal Engine 5. Right. Like they've done stuff, but we haven't seen them since Gears 5.
Fact, bro.
There's just like not a real feel at all of what these guys have been trending to or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a good point. I mean, you're right. Like, I'm not confident. I mean, excuse me. I'm not worried about graphical fidelity in anything.
Oh, no.
I'm not even. I know how y'all get that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know
they got that locked. Yeah,
they got that locked. You know what I'm saying? They before anyone else joined the team, these were the guys when it comes to fidelity and that Unreal Engine.
Yeah,
but like you said, the number one question: how do you package it? Right? I think it has to be a suite. I think you got to be.
I think if you want it to feel like a return to the old days, I think you got to suite it. Yeah.
That's what separates you, right? That's what makes you who you are. But like you said, what do you do to this formula to get people to actually play this game for an extended period of time? And that I'm curious about. And if they take a soft-handed approach, I'll be a little disappointed. Yeah, just the same old thing again. But I'm hoping with this development time, because I forgot, they've been gone a while.
Yeah. They had Hive Busters, right? You played that. I never played that. So that's the last thing we had to look at from them. Was that that was more driven around the horde mode, right? It was
the 3-player driven, but the thing was that was the first time they flirted with individual abilities per cog soldier and stuff, right? And it gave personality. They had everyone had I think that one guy had the shield and other. I forgot. It's been a while since I played it. It was a short bit of content, but it was really good at the launch of the series consoles. And I'm like, okay, I see something here. My hope flirt and dive more into that, right? And really distinguish. I don't know how you do it, because like you said, you made a good point. This is a prequel. How do you show? Maybe you do it through a design, weapon, or ability or something because obviously, clearly, Marcus and Dom can't be better than what they were, as because they're learning. The mindset is, hey, they're rookie, they're scrapping, they're trying to survive for their life. This threat just happened, so maybe you deliver it through some type of weapon or item that revolutionizes the gameplay, and this is what they're using to kind of help fight off the locusts while they're figuring things out. But they've got to do something, because if you just throw me in there, cover, shoot, chainsaw, yeah, we'll play it, we'll have fun, but you haven't really evolved the formula. You have to do something, because Gears is running the risk of being stale without a major gameplay update. They really need to revolutionize it somewhere, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And so I think it's they have the formula. If they just look at Halo, I mean, that's what made, I think, Gears resonate so much with Halo fans as well. It was during that era, it was power weapon driven. It's what are the new power weapons? I think that could also, or do they give them just more alternate fire modes, something to make them really feel different? I think at a certain point you do have to let go a little bit of what happened with Gears 1, 2, and 3, and just kind of focus on the fun first. If they can kind of make that live together, where it's respectful at the same time as feeling new, that's the ultimate win.
Last point I'll say is that the thing that I would hope that they steal from, that I thought who was jumping in their space and kind of doing it fire. Remember that Warhammer 40K?
Oh, yeah.
Remember you want to talk about feeling overwhelmed? Feeling remember how they had the teams of the enemies and stuff like that? Now, I don't know if you could outright steal, but hey, you could be a spy, because I like that. That felt like war was happening.
You brought that up. Yeah. Oh my God. Can you imagine if they leaned into that with that many enemies on screen and just fucking hacking through them all?
Hell yeah. That's what I want to see. Because to me, I'm like, you better watch them Warhammer 40K dudes. They looking at your formula.
They're sprinting in the Space Marine 3. They talked about that already. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, and maybe they do what you said, give them visceral melee moves or something. You got to do something to make the combat more visceral, but also the overwhelming feeling. That's what that game does better than any. You see them aliens teaming up. You're like, yo, this is crazy. We are overwhelmed, bro. I want that energy.
I'm so glad you brought this up because I'm like, now my brain just unlocked. I'm like, that's the game I'm thinking of. That like, I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. Because they had that co-op mission mode as well. And they had moves and things that you could do in that mode that you couldn't do it all in the main campaign. Like I always think of that one character who has like a grapple gun and you would just pull yourself in and just dive bomb enemies. Like it's fucking sick, dude. Yeah, that is a game that with the classes, which you talked about a bit with like Hive Busters, like leaning into that a little bit, but that would be rethinking horde mode. Like there's the traditional horde and there's missions. But like, is this going to be a suite where they can ship this all in a $70 package? Or I could just see a different world where they're like, this is our campaign. This is our horde mode. Like we're going to keep adding to horde forever. We're going to keep adding to multiplayer forever. But it feels like E-Day is a vision for a new trilogy. Like we're going to do 3 E-Days that lead into this new era.
Yeah.
But that's also kind of interesting is like, am I right about that? There's this sense of unpredictability because of where they left Gears 5 with the cliffhanger.
Yeah,
of just like, I don't think they're going to find something back here. But again, I'm like, are they just, you've already made your point clear. You're like, fuck that, kids. Drop it. Right. Yeah, and I'm not holding on to it, but like, I'm just thinking to myself, like, are they going to ever circle back? I think those days are done, but you know,
I think it's going to be a minute. They know the franchise needs a jolt in the arm. Sure. You go back to old reliable, old tried and true Marcus and Dom. You get the feels back automatically. You get public sentiment. It's free public sentiment. It's free PR. Like now you just got to execute with all the new stuff. But yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait to see how they approach it. I have so many questions, but it's so cool that they're confident. It's so cool that they've got the heavyweight slot, you know what I'm saying, of being a spotlight showcase game. And I love the fact it's coming in almost with Starfield-like energy. Remember, we didn't know anything about Starfield. And say what you want. That was one of the best reveals of a video game.
Oh, yeah.
At that time, we were like, oh, they're answering the questions. Okay, this is where we go. And that's what we need to know. So, yeah, I'm excited. This is we want a little reminisce run. And if they can nail it on the 25th, man, this would be special.
I agree. When do you think it's coming?
Ooh, good question. I have thoughts on this. Okay.
I have zero because I'm just like, I don't know. I was like, tough. I don't know.
It's tough. This is not easy. You're in a year. Obviously, Forza safe, smart, May, whatever they got the announcement. We're in a year where you have to still drop a Call of Duty game. People forget. We still have to drop a Call of Duty game. So that's most likely November, because what's GTA now? GTA is
November November 19th, I think.
So yeah, they also know. I assume Call of Duty might have to be October. You got to be October. You can't even have that smoke. Even you got to run. So you got that
last year,
which now leaves Gears and Fable. And I've been thinking hard about this.
Fable delay.
That's a possibility.
That's where my brain's at.
No, possibility. Very, very true. Very possible. If Fable is ready, in a perfect world, you want them in that September thing. Give them breathing room. It's safe away from Call of Duty. It's safe away from GTA. If it's ready. There could be a universe, exactly what you said, that Fable still may need a little bit more time, and then maybe it was going to come out in November. You don't want to stay in that blast radius. You pull the Avowed and say, see you in February of 2020. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
I mean, when it's GTA, it makes a lot more sense,
But if Fable is coming and it is ready, and let's say they hit the ideal target, I'm going to say something that I'm probably you're going to be surprised that I say based on my history. But I think, as weird as angry as I'm probably going to be if it happens, I'm not going to be angry, but I'm okay. I'm at peace with Gears coming out in December. I'm at peace. Because I don't like it from a Game of the Year accolade standpoint if the game is actually amazing. But Gears is big enough to survive on its own and have December to itself if it needs that time, right? If it needs that time. Now, it could flip, and Gears is the one that's really ready, and Gears is September, and then, Fable is later or whatever. It could flip. I just want Fable to have the best shot to win, and regardless of what. I think Gears is enough that as much as I don't like a December release date, they could put it there, they'll be okay. Because there's really nothing else around it. I got to look at our calendar.
Give it time. By this June, we'll be having a different mindset. We'll be oh God, man, they really all thought that after GTA 6 was a great idea. December, this is our most packed December ever.
I know.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Early October.
Ooh, I think
that. Yeah, I think I feel like if you commit to developer direct, I feel like you got to be September, October. I feel like you can't be further than that. I don't know if they've done that before where there hasn't been a game that's like ready relatively soon. Like I feel for that type of deep dive, like you got to be not like see in 6 months, see in half a year. Like I think you got to be like early October, like beat out the storm. You're beating out Call of Duty. You give Fable the grace of September, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be stacked either way. It's going to be a ton for us to manage either way. And that'll be a fun problem to have. Yes. But like, that's what I'm going with. I think as I tried to think about it, I'm like, I don't really know, but because again, like GTA is such a lingering time bomb. It's like, just when it goes off, get out of the way, you know?
Thanks.
But then it's like Xbox has their own potential one that they have to be considerate of, that they also have to set up for success. Cause last year was not great for them. At least optically speaking, in Call of Duty.
Oh yeah, it's
like,
big.
You need a good feeling Call of Duty this year.
Yes.
Like ever since I can't believe Phil's last summer showcase ended off on a one more thing Call of Duty Black Ops 7 reveal, bro. That's kind of fucking crazy. Like I'm like that game was cursed from the start, bro. You know, but yeah, like I think they need that to be set up for more careful success than it was before. I'm sure they're looking at the Circana and they're like, yeah, top 10 US, like we're good. But like Call of Duty got punched out by its competitor. Like I don't think you could just chill about that. So I think they really need to focus on setting that up. Yeah. And by proxy, I think Gears has to come second, right? It's like, all right, you got to go first, bro. You got to be ready. And when you think about, if I'm rationalizing my mindset here, Coalition hasn't shipped in a long ass time.
They
like
should be ready.
Like maybe you're ready in August.
No, you could be. No, you're right. I mean, you definitely.
Could you be ready this summer? Could that be a big moment? Like we'll see you next month. We'll see you in August.
That'd be wow. Yeah, that'd be all.
August could be kind of sick. I feel like I could see August.
Maybe quick.
It's just the marketing. Like, would they let that? Would they let that
it happen? Yeah, that's the thing. No, listen, you're making a strong argument because again, they got the slot. They've had the longest development time out of everyone. Yeah, they should theoretically be ready. If you're going to be in that slot, you're ready to go this year. It's just a matter of when. And I guess my decision making is based on my nervousness for protecting Fable and wanting Fable the best opportunity to succeed. Yeah, because I do have more confidence that at base E-Day will be a solid game. Not that Fable's going to be bad, but Fable needs as much time as it can. It needs enough space and nurturing releases around it that it can thrive. So yeah, no, you could very well be right, and they can say, hey, see you in August, see you September. Yeah. You know, Gears E-Day, here you go, kind of thing. So yeah, I can see that.
I imagine Xbox feels very bullish about Fable. That's like the tricky one where there was enough shown for us to know what this game is. There were still lingering questions. There were some performance concerns based on what we saw. They were still very like you kind of described like a sense of like, I wouldn't say dissatisfaction. That sounds a little too negative, but like I think I remember you describing sort of a like, yeah, but I want to see more. Like not just because I'm excited. I want to see more because it feels like they're still hiding something.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that combined with like, hey, if you delay too long, you're right in GTA territory. Do you really want to be there? Like, right. So do you just jump to next year, or is this your December game? Fable in December would be kind of sexy, dude. I'd love that. You know?
I mean, I wouldn't, only because of like, let's say it's fired. This would be Indiana Jones all over again. And I'm just like, bro, you finally get something fires in the 90s, and here we go again, not have a nomination. Like, it does matter at some point.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? If you care about the brand, like they've got to get the key with the Asha era is consistency, but also high quality games that are revered that people go, okay, I need to pay attention to Xbox because of this. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I'm on. It's a selfish request. It has nothing to do with the business. I'll admit, this is complete selfishness. I would just like Fable, if it is that good, to be able to release. I would sacrifice this year to say, okay, you come out February then. and your frame rate's in tight, you're not hiding, you got the extra time to put the features and the force attack engine and all. Take your time, bro. I rather you need it.
Yeah.
You can't slip on it. You can't come out half baked and fix later.
No. Not the way they were talking. No. Definitely not.
Take your track. Yeah.
Yeah. It's exciting though. I mean, all things considered, it's exciting. There's a lot to look forward for them, and it's all kind of coming jam-packed at that end of the year window. And I really think we're teeing up like one of the most blockbuster fall seasons we've seen in a minute. When you think of Wolverine and Fable and Gears and Call of Duty and GTA, it's like, Jesus. Dude, I'm partying like it's fucking 2013 right now. Like this is like
crazy.
Let's go. So I'm excited. We'll see where everything lands, but good news is you only have to wait a little bit more than 2 months, and hey, Cog and I, we'll be there.
Yes, sir.
We'll be there. So, who knows? Maybe they'll do hands-on or something. That'd be fun.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's stream a little bit. All right, Cog. Well, that's all I've got for that segment. That's all you've got for that segment. So let's go ahead and wrap this bad boy up. Hashtag for the week. What are we feeling?
Ooh, it's a big one. Holy, so much. So much, man. I mean, so it was a lot of fun stuff to talk about. I'm trying to think where we want to land on. I'm undecided. There's so many fun things that we talked about.
So we got the summer showcase. I have no doubt we made a defining Duke like D-Day sort of joke. Gears D-Day, Gears DD sounds like something we've kind of done as well. Lord of the Rings a lot.
The Lord of the Rings too.
In a preview. This is an Xbox. Response
we doing it?
This is a DD? I feel like, did we do that?
No, I don't think we've ever done that.
Okay, let's do it.
Pretty confident. Yeah, this is a DD.
And as a final sign off to that marketing era and just letting it be buried and gone forever. Hashtag this is a DD. You let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you got social media, tag us there. I am at G27status. Cog is at Lord Cognito. Let us know your thoughts again with the hashtag this is a DD. We look forward to hearing from you. Cog, any final words as we close this one out?
Another banger, lot of stuff. Get excited for how
Spring
things are
season,
handled.
Summer season.
Yes.
It's cooking. It's smelling the air.
Smelling the air. Weather's getting better now. I'm getting ready. Starting the reality started here. Okay, stuff's coming. We're going to be in our zone again. So it's fun. It's a fun type of year.
Right on. Well, Cog, as always, pleasure doing this with you. And we'll be back next week for episode 275 of Defining Duke and Xbox podcast. So until then, please, ladies and gentlemen, take excellent care of yourselves. Be safe. We got to see what the year of Xbox brings, right? This is the return to Xbox, according to Asha. So be safe out there. We'll talk very soon. Peace out.
Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is a product and trademark of Last Stand Media and Collins Last Stand LLC, and is recorded from the United States of America. The show is conceived by Matthew Mr. Matty Plays Schroeder and me, Colin Moriarty, and is written and produced by Matthew Schroeder. Matty's co-host is Barry Lord Cognito Eversley. Defining Duke's executive producer is Dustin Furman. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. As you know, all of Last Stand Media's shows, including Defining Duke, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer support level on Patreon, and we're thankful for your kindness and generosity.